Here's Reed down the field. Was trying to dial Simon again. The tight end at 235 pounds on a 6'4" frame.
Yeah, Banks, number 8, did a really nice job carrying Simon up the seam and sort of giving doubt to whether or not that ball was going to get over his hands. Yam Banks is going to be a big part of this South Alabama defense today. He's excellent as a tackler. He's going to be stressed in coverage.
In motion is Matheson. 3 receivers and a tight end for Reed. Quick throw inside, and that's Corley. Boy, what a tough out he is once he catches the ball. Works across the 40 to the 43, and Austin Reed is a fascinating study. He's the 2022 Conference USA Newcomer of the Year, second team all CUSA. But Roddy, his story out of Division II West Florida is unique in this world of G5, P5 transfer portal.
It certainly is. Comes to Western Kentucky, has incredible success. Jumped in the portal earlier this December. Came out of it playing in this game.
3rd down, 3 to go for the Toppers. And they're going to try and run with Poindexter. 1st down for Western Kentucky. Into South Alabama territory to the 44. Jalen Jordan comes up and makes the play after a 12-yard run for Davion Urban Poindexter, an Indiana transfer.
Really physical by that offensive line, opening up the hole.
Here's Reed taking the deep shot, and it's caught. Dalvin Smith.
Tempo from this Western Kentucky team. You hand the ball off on a counter play, get the 1st down, hurry to the line. We talked about Yam Banks. He gets one-on-one with Dalvin Smith. It's just a go. Right up the numbers, and Dalvin Smith completes it for a touchdown. What a spark, what a drive for this Western Kentucky team.
6 plays, 75 yards for Western Kentucky. And the point after is from Corey Munson, the backup kicker. But Austin Reed delivers on the pregame hype. And so does Dalvin Smith. His 4th touchdown catch of the year. And the Hilltoppers in front early in New Orleans.
You're watching Capital One Bowl Mania.
And we welcome you back to the 22nd annual R+L Carriers New Orleans Bowl. We're right here on Poydras Street at the Caesars Superdome. And already Western Kentucky has announced their intention tonight. 75 yards in 6 plays. And the Hilltoppers cover the last 44 from Austin Reed to Dalvin Smith. And we're getting ready to get our first look at South Alabama on offense. The kick over the head of McReynolds. So Jaguars will scrimmage from their 25, and here comes Carter Bradley, Roddy.
A guy who, son of a coach, started his career at the University of Toledo and just didn't work out and really needed a fresh start. Major Applewhite comes in as the offensive coordinator, and those two clicked incredibly well. Really gave Carter Bradley the confidence to want to play football again, and he's been fantastic. Mentioned, son of a coach, son of Gus Bradley, the defensive coordinator for the Indianapolis Colts. You know he's got a good head on his shoulders. Just does such a good job of making sure this offense is in the right play and manages it really well.
Talented running back in LaDamian Webb, who's going to get the ball on the first snap. And the Hilltoppers fight through. Kendrick Simpkins down from the safety spot to make the play for WKU. But Carter Bradley, Roddy already told you, started his career at Toledo. Comes into the ball game 4th in the Sun Belt in completion percentage, 2nd in yardage, 2nd in touchdowns, and 4th in passer rating. 2nd down and 8 after Webb's carry. Got 2 yards. And here is the sweep, and this is Colin Lacey. And he'll get near the 20 or near the 30-yard line. It'll be 3rd and almost 5 here for the Jaguars. Ignat, the linebacker, transfer from Tennessee, one of several black hats in the mix for Western Kentucky.
And this is where Western Kentucky wants to keep South Alabama. South Alabama's offense so good at getting to those 3rd and shorts.
Two tight end look here for Major Applewhite. On third down, Bradley moves to his right, now will keep. First down and more. Carter Bradley will slide down. Look a little awkward on the field turf near the 40-yard line, but a first down nonetheless.
I think that knee brace got caught, but just watch the poise. He moves up in the pocket, does a nice job of just being patient, and then sees a little bit of a lane. A really nice block by Devin Boyce in number 9. You kind of saw it. That left knee brace got caught on the turf, helping him pop up, but looks like he's fine.
In motion, that's Thomas Jones, the tight end, and a quick throw out in space to Boyce. Devin Boyce, the sophomore from Crestview, Florida. He got hit immediately by Talik Allen. And they're playing the nickel for Tyson Helton.
Got a blitz off the corner from the boundary. Should like a side adjustment, just toss it out to Boyce. And nice job, though, on the back end by Western Kentucky of tackling it for a short gain.
Here's Bradley, and the Toppers bringing 4. Boyce inside again. And he is stopped shy of the 45. So third and, about 5.5 awaits South Alabama.
I'll tell you, that's something that you're going to see a lot today from both of these teams, are the screen passes in very creative ways. I've already seen a couple of tunnel screens from both of these teams. And now you're approaching the area of the field where if you get to 4th and short, Kane Womack's going to think about going for it. One of the best at determining when to go for it on 4th down.
The 2-by-2 look here for the Jaguars. On third down, they're 43%. Bradley shoots it toward Boyson, and it got deflected. And that was Jaquez Evans, the linebacker. Speaking of guys in and out of the portal, Roddy, Evans has spent some time looking around in today's college football in the last week or so, but makes a play there.
Could say he dipped his toe in, but a really nice job in space of feeling the route, seeing the quarterback's eyes, and breaking on the football. Jaquez Evans is the guy that makes this defense go.
Here is Brooks to punt. And that ball will bounce in front of Jalen Hall, and it gets into the end zone. That'll be the longest, one of the longest punts of the year for the Aussie Brooks. Timeout on the field here in New Orleans as we approach the holiday. 7-0 Western Kentucky. Well, we welcome you back. R+L Carriers New Orleans Bowl on tap tonight for you from the Caesars Superdome in Western Kentucky, already with a 7-0 lead. Great to be with Roddy Jones, Taylor Davis as well, Wes Durham. And we've seen fast throughout college football. We saw hyperdrive by the Hilltoppers in their opening possession.
Yeah, the touchdown drive took 1:49. It's as fast as anybody in the country, and they caught South Alabama a little off guard on that touchdown pass. A lot of scrambling going on from the Jaguars defense. So we'll see if that continues, how much that continues. But after completions and after run plays, Western Kentucky is going to press the gas and go about as fast as anybody in the country.
Yeah, and Austin Reed clearly comfortable at the trigger. Threw the touchdown pass to Dalvin Smith. There's a look at the young man who came in from West Florida and posted 8 games of 300 yards or more this year for Tyson Helton. And back at it again. Belgian, the tight end, the grab that time. And that's a pickup of right at about 6, almost 7 on the play. Darrell Luter, the corner, who's going to the Reese's Senior Bowl on the coverage. And that's Davion Irvin Poindexter. And he will have enough, I believe, for the first down. Yep.
It's a couple times on 2nd and short they've gone to that counter play. Nice job by Quintavious Lee, 78 with the kick out block.
So here's Reed from the pocket, another deep shot downfield, looking for Smith again, who makes a terrific catch. 29 catches in the regular season for Dalvin Smith, but his first 2 here in New Orleans have been big ones.
They certainly have. He's one-on-one with Yam Banks again. South Alabama opting to play a lot of man-to-man early on, and Western Kentucky's made him pay.
Irvin Poindexter trying to slide to the near side. He gets pulled down. Wykevious Thomas on the play for the Jaguars.
There's Davis up against Banks, beats him off the line of scrimmage, and then just shows the speed. You can see the safety, Jalen Jordan, not able to get there quite in time. Dalvin Smith As you mentioned, Wes, only 29 catches coming into this game, but David Davis out in this one. That moves everybody up, and he certainly has speed out of that slot position. We've seen it today.
Dalvin Smith finished the regular season strong. He had 13 catches of his 29 in the regular season in their last 4 games. Coming into this postseason date with South Alabama. Reed throwing again. Belgian, a touchdown. 4th touchdown catch of the year for Joey Belgian.
My goodness, has Austin Reed been sharp on these first 2 drives, putting the ball right on the money. This one is absolutely ripped up the seam, right on the face mask of Belgian. Western Kentucky has absolutely exploded in this one.
5 plays, 80 yards, 96 seconds. And Reed is 7 of his first 8 for 144 and 2. And the kick from Munson is good.
Kane Womack and his crew are scrambling a little bit. You get a little switch release. It's almost like you'd see a post wheel on the outside, but instead you do it with the slot and the tight end. Ends up being, once again, against Yam Banks, who's playing that nickel. Seems like the game plan has been to target that position, make Banks run, trailing Belgian, and I don't know what that is, but celebrate, young man.
No question. Tell you what it is, it's 2 touchdowns in your first 2 possessions.
Yeah, it is.
It's 11 snaps. You've covered 155 yards. And you've staked yourself to a 2 TD lead. Tyson Helton and the Hilltoppers got to feel great about the start. And there'll be no return here by the Jaguars, so South Alabama will go from its 25. Don't forget, tomorrow night, Capital One Bowl Mania continues. The Lockheed Martin Armed Forces Bowl. Freshman running back Richard Reese leads Baylor against Air Force. And their stud running back Brad Roberts, who's 3rd among all FBS backs in total yards and has 15 touchdowns. Coverage 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific on ESPN, ESPN Deportes, and of course the app.
With the number of guys opting out ahead of him, Brad Roberts maybe end up being the leading rusher in the country when this thing is all said and done.
LaDamian Webb in the backfield. And that was Lacey in motion, and the ball, bad snap. Carter Bradley's just got a fall on it. It'll be a loss of 14 back to the 11. They might give him a yard toward the 12, but nonetheless, unforced error by the Jags.
Just doesn't get off the ground. James Jackson right between the legs. What a nightmarish start if you're South Alabama. You've been hit by lightning on the other side with this Western Kentucky offense. Your offense had a very short possession that ended in a punt before, and now you're way behind the sticks.
Tyson Summers, the defensive coordinator of Western Kentucky, has got his secondary 15 yards off the line. And LaDamian Webb runs right into Will Ignite. 5th-year senior from Huntsville, Alabama. There's Tyson Summers, the defensive coordinator, who said, above all else, we cannot live in a 3rd and 2 world against South Alabama. Well, so far, they've not lived in 3rd and 2. And his offense, Tyson Helton and Ben Arbuckle have given him a 2-score lead to line his troops up. Omni Wells has come in with his 3rd and long. Bradley dumps it to Wells, and there are the white shirts of the Hilltoppers. Jaquez Evans led the charge for Western Kentucky.
Tyson Summers had his defense in the perfect call for this. Jaquez Evans drops back into a shallow coverage, almost like a spy, and just sniffs it out from the beginning. And Kane Womack would have loved for a drive here to get his defense just some time to catch their breath, but they are going to be put right back on the field against the Western Kentucky offense that is on fire.
So here's Jack Brooks to punt. It's a end-over-end kick, and it will be fielded just beyond the midfield line by Jalen Hall. So a 14-0 lead for Western Kentucky. Let's take a look at already what we could call powerful plays, brought to you by Duracell, Roddy.
Oh, that first drive, Austin Reed down the field, an absolute strike to Dalvin Smith. That's the 44-yard touchdown. Then he goes to Smith again. This is tight coverage. Just look at that throw, incredible by Austin Reed. And you get Beljan up the seam, put it right on the face mask for a touchdown. This Western Kentucky offense, second in the country in passing offense, and they look like they just got done playing yesterday. No bowl delay at all.
Here's a throwback, Urban Poindexter. Nice play on the read and react, and that's Trey Kaiser, who is clearly All-America hair.
Oh, 100%. Maybe all-world hair.
Yeah. Strong side linebacker. Comes in with 10 tackles for loss to lead the Jaguars and posted 11 right there. Loss of 3 back to Western Kentucky's 49-yard line.
Question for me is going to be, what adjustments does South Alabama make? Do they play less man-to-man right now? It looks like Jalen Jordan in the middle of the field. Now no safeties in the middle.
5 wide, too. That's Smith in motion. Snap to Reed. Make the throw to the perimeter. Back inside. Here's Malachi Corley, and he'll pick up the first down. Corley to the 38. Jalen Jordan, who Roddy spoke of a moment ago, the stop for the Jaguars.
Well, Malachi Corley is built like a running back. With the ball in his hands, he is as tough to tackle as anybody in the country.
Here's another quick throw. This is Simon, the tight end on the perimeter. Down toward the South Alabama 30-yard line. They broke that toward the 29. Keyshawn Brown, the middle linebacker, the stop. And I mean, it's jab, 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 haymaker from Western Kentucky, Roddy, in this third possession. Here's Reed. Austin Reed gonna clutch and slide. Started at the 23, and that's where they'll mark him to. First down, though, for the Hilltoppers.
This defense is just on its heels,
Yep.
and the aggressor in this has been the Western Kentucky offense, directed by Austin Reed and called by Ben Arbuckle, who, you talk about rising stars in this industry, and we have them in this game. Ben Arbuckle is one of them, the 27-year-old offensive coordinator for Western Kentucky, has done an excellent job this season.
And by the way, that's C.J. Rias shaking up for South Alabama. Both he and Maurice Strong. The tempo of this is clearly playing toward the Hilltoppers' advantage as a timeout is taken. Just ahead of 5 minutes to go, first period at the R&L Carriers New Orleans Bowl.
The R&L Carriers New Orleans Bowl is brought to you by R&L Carriers. We ship anything, anywhere, anytime. And Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Guys having a ton of fun at Shamrock here in New Orleans. Let's go back to the injury, see how C.J. Rias got hurt. Looking over towards the sideline, sometimes West is a dangerous game. There he is, right there on the numbers. Oh, what's the, oh, I'm hurt. Oh, help me. Oh, I got it. It's a cramp or something. I don't know. There was a sign over there that hurt C.J. Rias. I would hope that he's going to be okay after that.
Yeah. Thought we put a rule in for that.
It has to go to the conference office, I believe, or something like that.
Even in the postseason. Here's Reed, quick throw, and it's caught. Flag down. Urban Poindexter tackled at the 1.5. But it looks like we're going to get our first penalty of the night. I should say second of the night on Western Kentucky, who, believe it or not, had a false start on their first snap.
Holding, number 53, offense. 10-yard penalty, replay, first down.
Cal McNeil from the Mountain West and the crew tonight. And that's Rusty Stats, who they really like at center.
Yeah, watch him right in the middle. Yeah, he's got him wrapped up there. It was Keyshawn Brown that was in there in the middle, and it was a good play. It was sort of the same concept that they ran a little bit ago, except for they ran it with the running back instead of the tight end. You get a rail route out of the seam route out of the backfield, and it's a good delivery. But this is an opportunity for South Alabama on defense. You got a first and long.
And Marquise Steps come in the ball game, and he gets the call. First carry for the young man. Started his career out of Indianapolis at Nebraska. Then was at USC before coming to Bowling Green, and James Miller on the tackle. There's a look at Steph, 103 yards on 21 carries this season, but his last 3 games, he had 8 for 64 at Rice and 7 for 33 in their second to last regular season game at Auburn.
Rice is back in the game, Wes. He's all right. He recovered.
Good news. 2nd and 17, however, for Reed and the Hilltoppers. That's Corley in motion. Here is Reed. And he will try and get it to Corley, out of bounds. So that'll make it 3rd down, Taylor.
Well, guys, so much of South Alabama's success this season has been predicated on the defense's performances. So as expected, a lot of frustration down here on the South Alabama sideline, having to react to what Western Kentucky is doing. Keep in mind, the coaches told us they went live a couple times this week in preparation for this offense. They knew that they would be conflicted, they would be spread out on the perimeter, really collaborating, trying to find an answer.
Now it's 3rd down and 17. For Tyson Helton's team. Reed with a 2-by-2 look. Drops. Now bails up the field. And Austin Reed's going to make it pretty easy from a field goal perspective. But Roddy, both schools kind of like to shoot their shot on 4th down from time to time.
Tyson Helton, one of the more aggressive coaches in the country on 4th down. You get it to a 4th and 3. He's going to opt to kick the field goal here, take the points, go up. Or at least attempt to take the points, go up 17.
Here is Corey Munson, who, by the way, is backing up Braden Narveson, who is unable to go tonight for the Hilltoppers. So Corey Munson, who's not kicked at all this season, will try a 34-yard field goal. And he pushed it to the right. So Braden Narveson, who's 4th in scoring in Conference USA, unable to go. Corey Munson, who kicked 2 years ago for the Hilltoppers, misses the field goal.
And this is the part of the quote analytics conversation that's not had enough. Taking the points and kicking the field goal isn't always automatic. And this is sort of built in. 4th and 3 in that scenario, they've been aggressive all year. I think part of the decision is to try and give the field goal kicker some confidence. You've got to back up in, you've got a big lead. Let's give him a field goal in the middle of the field from a makeable distance. But Munson misses it, and the South Alabama sideline fired up, and maybe a little bit of life for South Alabama. They really needed something good for them to happen on defense.
There's Braden Narveson, by the way. You see the boot on his foot. And he is unable to go tonight for Tyson Helton's team. So after the miss, Carter Bradley and the Jaguars trying to get started. And this is LaDamian Webb on the swing pass. And he will get 5 before he is helped out of bounds. Upton Stout, great name for a corner. Transfer from North Texas out of Houston, makes the play. He's got 3 interceptions. Tied for the team lead.
It's not going to go down on the highlight film, but it's a really good job by Carter Bradley of just having that internal clock, knowing that the route was going to take too long to develop, dumping out to the running back for a positive gain.
And here is Webb again, this time on the ground. And clearly, one of the things you got to believe Major Applewhite is trying to get done here is to get a little offensive momentum built to keep the defense off the field, Roddy.
Yeah, and it's also who they are. I mean, this is an offensive unit in Western Kentucky that's kind of like Georgia Southern was. James Jackson looks like he's down on the field. And in that game against Georgia Southern earlier this year, ironically enough, against Tyson Helton's brother, Clay Helton, South Alabama ran the ball more than any other game this year. Some of that's to keep the offense off the offense on the field and the Western Kentucky defense on the field. But a lot of it is going to be, this is who South Alabama wants to be.
Taylor?
What's also interesting about that game, Roddy, they actually fell behind early. They rallied back from a 2-touchdown deficit to win 38-31.
The similarities are
uncanny.
Uncanny, indeed.
Got to look at Major Applewhite upstairs. He charts the offense, of course, and now Webb will pick up the 3rd and short. First down run for the Jaguars.
Some tough yardage there by Damian Webb. He's fun to watch. The running back formerly at Florida State 2 different times at Jones Community College in Mississippi. He's listed at 5'7". You know what that means. He's probably not 5'7", but a hair over 200 pounds. He is a competitive, tough runner. Guy that has Obviously, big-time experience, having been at Florida State, and big-time experience here.
Pistol set and a little play fake here for Bradley. And he'll shoot it down the field. Boyson working his way toward midfield before he's brought down. There was some question about Devin Boyson and his ability to go tonight because in the final regular season game he'd been banged up a little bit, but he's a gamer tonight, sophomore from Crestview, Florida. Had 6 catches for almost 120 yards and 2 scores in their win at Texas State late in the regular season, and now a timeout has been called by the Hilltoppers.
Timeout, Western Kentucky. Their first timeout of the half. 30-second timeout.
So Tyson Helton wants to huddle up with his defense. And meanwhile, we talk about South Alabama, and the Jaguars off to an uphill start here, but still, Kane Womack. It's been a historic season driving a tractor down Canal Street, Roddy, just like you did yesterday. Southpaw helped them to 10 wins, and then Bradley part of that success too, Roddy.
Certainly has been. LaDamian Webb, 14 touchdowns, and that's missing some time during the regular season. Jalen Wayne has been fantastic at receiver. Got 3 receivers over 700 yards, and look at all of those potential records that could be broken tonight. We were kind of doing our tally on how many we think will get done tonight. I mean, certainly you would guess 9 first downs will be gotten, 22 yards of total offense. They may have already surpassed that. But it has been quite the season for Kane Womack and this Jaguars team.
14-yard throw to Boyson, by the way, sets him up 1st and 10. Previous 5 completions had only netted about 11 yards. And here is Webb trying to work his way and picks up almost 7 on the play. Lorenzo Hernandez makes the stop. Big 0 on that defensive line for the Toppers. There's Lorenzo from Cherry Hill, New Jersey, by way of Monmouth. That's Crum, the tight end, in motion. You see the 3 receivers. Haven't called Wayne's name yet tonight, Ronnie. Bradley to Webb, trying to find a seam. What, Western Kentucky, who came in 4th in Conference USA, 74th nationally, allowing 156 yards, has done a pretty good job of keeping the door shut on LaDamian Webb. That was Derek Smith, the tackle there.
One of the big questions coming into this game was how would Western Kentucky line up. We've seen that 3-3 stack for the most part against this, at least on this drive, against this South Alabama offense. This is one of those scenarios where if South doesn't get it, they may think about going for it.
Yep, 3rd down and short. And quarter expires. And that will send us to the second 15 minutes, I believe. Cal McNeil.
That's the end of the first quarter.
That is it. So the quarter. There we have it. First 15 minutes in the books. Tyson Helton's got to be pretty pleased. His club cashed in their first 2 possessions with Austin Reed touchdowns. First one was 44, and then Belgian, the second one, to make it 14-0 WKU. Oh, Bourbon Street. We welcome you back. Capital One Bowl Mania. We are in New Orleans for the R+L Carriers New Orleans Bowl with Roddy Jones, Taylor Davis, Wes Durham, and South Alabama's here with 10 wins, Roddy, in Kane Womack's 2nd year. And again, you got to remind yourself, they didn't play ball there until 09. They were FBS in 12, and they lost 2 games by 5 points.
That UCLA game in the Rose Bowl on a last-second field goal. We already showed you some of the 28 school records set this season. But this is important to this team. Could be their first bowl win in school history.
You see the 2 tight set. That's Lacey in motion. Pistol set here. And Webb got stymied on the 3rd down give. And that might be a loss of almost 2 on the play. Evans and Darius Shipp made the stop. So here's 4th down, Roddy.
Well, we'll see where this ends up. It ends up, looks like it's going to be about a 4th and 4. Kane Womack's leaving the offense on the field. This is part of the discussion. You have analytics involved, but also the feel of this game. You're down 14 points. Western Kentucky has done a great job on offense. You want to keep your offense on the field.
Only a single back deep. Here's Bradley in trouble. Reroutes to the perimeter. Can he get to the corner? He tries to and dives for it. And the spot, he's ruled out at the 44. He missed it by a yard and a half. And the Jaguars, a quick spot was made by the linesman across the way here.
What an incredible effort. Let's see where the ball goes out of bounds. We can't quite see it, but
wow.
You see the foot goes out.
But where's the ball, right?
But where's the ball? Can't see it from that angle here. This will give us a good look. Watch that right foot. Yeah, he's going to be short, I would imagine. Basically piecing those two together. Look at that right foot. You can see it down right there, so he's certainly out of bounds. And I think he actually goes out of bounds slightly before that. And from that angle, it does look short.
Yep.
It's a good call by the officials. Carter Bradley doing a great job. What an effort after getting pressured. And now you got to rely on your defense to try and get you a stop.
Just beyond the 43 now for Austin Reed. Here's a reverse. They're going to get it in the hands around the corner of the speedy Michael Matheson. Into Jaguar territory, and Matheson finally shoved down at the 25-yard line by Jamar Richardson. So Ben Arbuckle and Tyson Helton dip into their gadget plays here for 31 yards.
It was incredibly effective. It's almost like a shot play going to the reverse.
Here is Reed. Quick snap in the throw and trying to dial it to Hall, and was batted away by Luter, the corner.
The pace to this game as you get a look at Ben Arbuckle, the 27-year-old offensive coordinator. He basically told us that he has relished this opportunity to not only learn under Tyson Helton and be able to call the offense this year after Zach Kitley's departure, but spent so much time with Zach Kitley that he learned so much. Really relishes this opportunity. He's done a great job this year with his quarterback.
Oh, sure has. That's Smith in motion, who caught the first touchdown. Now he's going to throw, and open is Hall. Touchdown for the Hilltoppers. You got to be ready for everything in postseason, Roddy.
Yeah, you do. I mean, back-to-back plays. You get the reverse. First off, you get the stop on 4th down. And then the reverse gets you down close. The double pass for the touchdown. Man, oh man, Western Kentucky.
And the point after is good. Early into the second. Ben Arbuckle, the OC, fired up. Dalvin Smith, have a night.
Catch a touchdown pass earlier. This is an easy pitch and catch. Western Kentucky, 3 scores up on South Alabama.
I mean, Jalen Hall put the smooth criminal on him in the end zone.
After Dalvin Smith.
Dalvin Smith.
Just adding to the stat line.
Let me tell you this. Caught one from 44 to open the night. Just threw one, 25. To paraphrase Jones, not quite a dime, but still a nickel's worth.
I mean, I'm going to give that at least 7 cents. It was on the run.
And Dalvin Smith has made it 21-0. Hilltoppers couldn't have asked for a better start. There'll be no return of the kick by Munson. So now, Kane Womack and his team, who have fallen behind, as you and Taylor documented earlier, in ball games this year, went for it on 4th down, came up a yard and a half short. Now all of a sudden, Roddy, you got to find a way here now.
Yeah.
Grind or do something, because your defense has been on the field. They've been running around against the tempo the Hilltoppers have put out here tonight. And you got to keep it in front of you, as coaches say from time to time.
Well, you got to start to chip away. And going back to that 4th down decision, look, Western Kentucky on offense looks like they would score if you started them in Slidell, and the end zone was here in New Orleans. So going for it on 4th down was the right call, but your offense has to put something on the board.
Straight ahead goes the freshman McReynolds. He is from Mobile and one of several local products in Womack's Jaguar program, and he picks up almost 7. So Braylon McReynolds, 311 yards this year. running the football. And a young man they're very excited about. He was second to LaDamian Webb, who had over 1,000 yards and was fourth in the Sun Belt. And now second down and 3. And here is Bradley back here to the near side. He will try and stretch out. Now we're going to get a flag thrown on the play, and I think Aaron Key made the stop. And did Broderick Martin get held here? Big 99 for Western Kentucky. I think he got held by a Jaguar.
It's a lot to hold.
Holding. Number 55, offense. 10-yard penalty, replay, second down.
Dante Lucas, the left guard. Look at the moving solar system that is Broderick Martin.
I'm telling you, there's a lot there. There's a lot there to get caught up holding. And especially with the play going as long as it did. See 55 there, Dante Lucas. He engages, and then late in that play gets the hold on Broderick Martin. But the coverage downfield for Western Kentucky has been excellent. It's forced Carter Bradley to have to tuck and run a couple of times.
Yep. You see Thomas Jones, the tight end, in motion. And Bradley will be sacked. Jaquez Evans back at the 14. And now the Hilltoppers defense is answering the bell too to match the offense.
This is just a great pass rush. You're going to see Evans there to the top of your screen, just a stab right into the chest of McCulloch. It puts him on his heels, then goes right around him. It's a great job of using heavy hands to get to the quarterback.
Third down and a long way. And they're going to hand to McReynolds, and not much. He'll pick up 4 to the 18, and the Jaguars going to have to punt the football with about 3 minutes gone here in the second quarter for the third time in 4 possessions.
Feels like Kane Womack's crew is just reeling right now. And the thing with these teams that are this explosive offensively is you almost have to steady yourself against the initial push and just not let it get away from you early. And it's starting to.
Yep.
South Alabama, because the momentum is all on the Western Kentucky side.
Jalen Hall averages about 12 yards a return on punts. He had a touchdown on a punt return against Rice, and he'll call for the fair catch in Hilltopper territory. But 41-yard punt gives it to Western Kentucky at its 35 when we come back to the Big Easy.
The Arendelle Carriers New Orleans Bowl is brought to you by World Equestrian Center, world-class equestrian and events destinations in Ocala, Florida and Wilmington, Ohio.
Rolling into the holidays here in New Orleans tonight. Western Kentucky is rolling, leading 21-0. Downstairs to Taylor Davis.
Well, guys, where there's been frustration down here on the South Alabama sideline, elation over on Western Kentucky, specifically from quarterback Austin Reed. Like we've talked about, an incredible season for him in his first year here leading the charge for Western Kentucky. Over 4,000 yards on the season. Now, he did enter the transfer portal, but has withdrawn and decided to stay here. I asked him why. He said, my teammates and my staff, this is the best place for my future.
Malachi Corley touches it. And the talk yesterday from Ben Arbuckle and Tyson Helton was we'd like Corley to get double-figure touches. They went CIA on Dalvin Smith for us, however.
Yeah, they did.
But Ben Arbuckle gets it to Corley that time for a couple. And here's Reed right back to work and a throw to Hall, who slips out of a tackle and picks up the first down near midfield.
Wes, going back to what Taylor talked about with Austin Reed in the transfer portal, this is sort of the new normal. And this is a guy that transferred from a Division II school, had incredible success at the FBS level. So, of course, he's getting calls. And it was interesting to hear Ben Arbuckle talk about the way he would have experienced it.
Here's Reed, and that's Hall wide open. Inside the 15, down toward the 10 of South Alabama. And you start to see the frustration from Jamar Richardson, who makes the tackle and just throws his arms up in the air.
Well, I think they're dealing with calls coming in slowly. They're dealing with confusion. They're dealing with incredibly talented receivers on the other side. And now they're dealing with another injury.
And Keyshawn Brown is down.
They have absolutely torched these seams I mean, watch this throw by Austin Reed.
Wow.
Number one, he's wide open.
Yep.
Jalen Hall. But number two, absolutely rips it up the seam. And just going back to what Taylor was talking about a second ago with the transfer portal, I think with some of these guys, and Austin Reed, one of them, you're curious to see who's going to come after you, who's going to talk to you. And I think that's a natural curiosity. But good for him for realizing that this team, with Ben Arbuckle as his offensive coordinator, with Tyson Helton as his head coach, was the place for him and the place that he felt like he could give so much success. And Ben Arbuckle, a guy who played Division II football, could identify, could really sort of empathize with the decision-making process that Austin Reed was going through.
Yeah. You see Davion Irvin Poindexter in the backfield. Here is 1st and 10 off the South Alabama 11. Hilltoppers trying to throw another log on the fire to the end zone and broken up on a ball intended for Corley. And that's Yam Banks, and that's as good as we're going to get offense to defense tonight in this matchup between the two, Roddy.
Yam Banks has been on the bad end of a couple of these matchups. This ball a little underthrown from Reed. If he puts more air under it, Corley's got a chance to go up. But you could see the explosive athletic ability from Corley right there.
Yeah.
The guy 5'11", 210 pounds, incredibly hard to tackle, super explosive. He's another one of these Western Kentucky players. If you haven't watched him this year, he is fun on film, and they get him the ball in a million different ways, lined up in the backfield right now.
Yep, Poindexter's gone to the slot on the right. He's been typically the running back, and Reed to work. Little pressure coming in, he'll loop it for the end zone, and Simon can't catch up to it. Trying to dial the big tight end. Second team All-Conference USA is Joshua Simon.
They were actually confused. I think Simon ran the wrong route. He's supposed to be more shallow because the ball's supposed to go to Corley. Corley's in the backfield, runs a corner out of the backfield, so you would think Simon should be somewhere around 5 yards from the line of scrimmage. And if he's there, then Trey Kaiser's with him, and you get Corley wide open in the end zone. I just think there was some confusion on the route there by Simon. Got too deep.
Good point. Almost 5 minutes into this second quarter, and Helton's team trying to add a 4th touchdown to this first half. Reed zips it inside. Catch is made. It'll be 4th down on the Simon catch that time. At the 5, Kaiser the tackle.
Now you're inside the 10-yard line with a 4th and... This one's kind of long. It's 4th and 4. You see Austin Reed saying, let's go for it. Honestly, if I was playing offense like that, I'd be telling my coach, let's go for it too.
If you were playing like Austin Reed, you call timeout, come over and tell your coach to go
I might have one of those injuries where we got to talk about this thing.
So here is Munson, who missed from 34. Remember, they're without Braden Narveson tonight, their normal place kicker, because of an injury. This is a little shorter, 23-yarder, and he knocks it straight through. So the field goal to 23 yards, and the Hilltoppers extend the lead. The difference is 24 here in New Orleans. We welcome you back to the R+L Carriers New Orleans Bowl, part of Capital One Bowl Mania. There it is, the mighty Mississippi. Hilltoppers feeling pretty good. 24-0 on South Alabama with Roddy Jones, Taylor Davis, Wes Durham. We welcome you back to the Caesars Superdome. This game in 2002 established a relationship between the Sun Belt and Conference USA. And convenes here again tonight. And they're going to run it out. Well, Braylon McReynolds, the young freshman, trying to find a seam across the 20 and worked it to the 24. So don't forget that 2 more bowl games teed up for you as part of Capital One Bowl Mania. Coming up on Friday at 3 Eastern, noon Pacific. Radiance Technologies Independence Bowl from Shreveport. They do a terrific job there. Louisiana and Houston meet. And then, Roddy, the Union Home Mortgage Gasparilla Bowl. From the Raymond James Stadium in Tampa, Sam Hartman in his final game as a Demon Deacon against Eli Drinkwitz in Missouri. All available for you on ESPN and, of course, the ESPN app. And off the 24-yard line, LaDamian Webb gets the possession started. And second down coming up, but look at the numbers the Hilltoppers are posting here in the first half.
That is as jarring a graphic as you will see during bowl season this year. Ken Womack's crew searching for answers. A nightmare of a start for them defensively, and then offense just has gotten nothing going and kind of shot himself in the foot a couple times.
Here's Bradley, threw it beyond Voisin's reach. Incomplete. And so third down will be coming up. It looked like Evans was peeling through to try and get to Carter Bradley here.
And as you're looking to climb back in a game, it's a throw that you got to have from your quarterback. Now it sets up third and manageable, 3rd and 5. But that was a wide open receiver. Carter Bradley's going to walk that one back.
Yep, that's Voisin in motion to the boundary. Bradley, quick shot, and the catch is made. And Devin Voisin again. Ignat, the linebacker, knocked him down, but it'll be a first down for the Jaguars with 8.5 to go in quarter 2. Interesting part about this is this has been the toughest scoring quarter offensively for South Alabama this year. The first quarter was their best scoring quarter, but they've got great balance in each of the 4 periods of play through the regular season.
Well, they're going to need it to be imbalanced today.
Yeah, because Western Kentucky took their toughest scoring quarter of the year, the first, and put a blitzkrieg on here in the Superdome. Damian Webb on first down. Picked up about half of the 10.
If you're South Alabama, realistically, you're thinking, all right, first off, let's get a touchdown. But if you can get it, certainly within 10, but if you can even get it within two scores, 14,
right,
by halftime, you got to feel like, all right, we've weathered the storm. Maybe we can get back in this thing. You got to find answers on defense.
Bradley to Voisin again, a terrific catch at the Hilltopper 40-yard line. In and around Upton Stout. It's an 18-yard bullet from Carter Bradley.
It's a big-time throw and a big-time catch. This defensive line for Western Kentucky's done a great job getting pressure on Carter Bradley, and that was no exception. There was a hand around his arm as he throws it down the field. How about the adjustment, though, by Devin Voisin on the back end?
Yep. Almost a full pirouette to catch. Now from the 40, here's Bradley again. Flush to his right, and tried to throw it back across the field to Colin Lacey. Incomplete. It'll be second down, and another look at the Voisin catch a moment ago from Brad.
Yeah, and the West Durham described pirouette.
Yeah.
Did you see Voisin on the outside? Watch this. Leaps, adjusts, turns around. I would give that a 10 out of 10. Do you judge pirouettes? I'm going to judge that one.
All right, there we go. I'll take the compliment. Move forward.
Oh, there you go.
Second in the full 10. Tight end Sefcik in motion there for the Jaguars. And there goes Wayne. Comes in with 56 catches. One of the 3 guys with 50 or more grabs this year for the Jaguars. Bradley, that time, tried to dial it to Lacey again. And Simpkins.
There's been really one time that I can remember where you had a wide open receiver for South Alabama. There's some confusion with both guys setting picks and no one running a route. I saw Sefcik turning to Wayne and saying, hey, look, man, something was off there.
So Jalen Wayne, who had 10 catches, 123 and 2 scores in the last 3 games of the regular season, doesn't have a catch in this first half. Under 7 to go. This is third in the full 10. 5-man pressure and wide open. There's the first catch of the night for DJ Thomas Jones, the tight end.
When you get more blitzing than you can handle, you have to know what the answer is, and Carter Bradley does an excellent job of finding Thomas Jones.
Pistol set. Here's Bradley, a little throw. And Thomas Jones the hurdle, and then took a big lick at the 21. It'll be a gain of 4, but South Alabama trying to get a red zone possession here, Roddy. Derek Smith, the linebacker, knocked him out of the air.
The score has sort of forced South Alabama to get out of sorts on offense as we've got a Hilltopper down. I think it's Kendrick Simpkins, if I'm not mistaken, 16.
Yep.
But it sort of forced Kane Womack's crew to have to go more pass heavy than they would like to be, but Carter Bradley's done a nice job despite the fact that his offensive line's been on their heels. He's been under some pressure. And the defensive backfield for Western Kentucky has been plastered all over these receivers.
And Tyson Summers, by the way, who talked to us, hey, look, we'll play a lot of different things here. And you mentioned this at the top. They are a chameleon when it comes to their packages. They've thrown everything, including the pressure. Now, give Bradley credit recognizing the blitz a moment ago, but the Jaguars been knocked back in their first, what, 3-4 offensive possessions?
Yeah, we've kind of seen them. They've got so many different fronts that they can get into because of the structure of this defense and because of the versatility of really two guys, Jaguars Evans and Derek Smith, the two linebackers, the versatility that those guys have. We've already seen Evans come off the edge, get a pressure. We've seen him drop back in coverage. And Tyson Summers kind of alluded to us that, hey, we got to switch it up on these guys. And now that they've got South Alabama on their heels, I mean, you're going to see 3-3 stack. You're going to see 3-4. You're going to see bear defense. You're going to see 4 down. You're going to see a lot of different stuff from this group.
Here is the second down play, 10th play of the drive. Bradley under duress throws a wobbly ball for the end zone. It's intercepted. Picked off by Caleb Oliver. And Oliver back up the field. He'll be tackled at the 30. It's the 4th interception of the year for the Georgia Tech transfer.
Bradley was signaling like he thought there was
interception by the defense. First down, Western Kentucky.
And Carter Bradley was signaling for something. He's not. I didn't see anything. Didn't see anything there. But the arm gets hit of Carter Bradley, and it absolutely makes this ball a duck. And it's once again the pressure. You could just see the big mitt reaching out of Jaguars Evans. Jaguars Evans had the pressure. I think Lorenzo Hernandez was actually the one that got his hand on it. Watch on that right side. Yeah, it's Hernandez, big number 0, that gets the big mid in there. And it is an absolute duck. And Caleb Oliver does everything but make a fair catch. Actually catches what looks like a punt. Runs it down the sideline, and the nightmarish day for South Alabama continues.
Well, and the other element here is that that's the 31st turnover created this year by the Hilltoppers on defense. Here's a flip. This is Smith again, trying to cut it loose for Hall, who cannot make the catch, but they're markers for pass interference. Jamar Richardson was there, along with Jalen Jordan.
That was a heat check from Dalvin Smith, and it was an absolute terrible decision, to be honest with you. He throws this ball up for grabs. He's fortunate that he's bailed out by his receiver and by a pass interference.
Pass interference, number 6, defense. 15 yards from previous spot, automatic, first down.
I mean, this is double coverage, and you see Richardson just grab and pull. And if Jalen Jordan or Jamar Richardson plays the ball, they can intercept this really easily.
Right.
But I think that just the nature of this South Alabama defense right now is sort of taking some of the confidence out. Like, this is a terrible decision, but you're bailed out by poor play on the back end.
So after the Oliver interception,
I mean, in all actuality, you get a pass like that thrown from a receiver, and as a coach, you're thinking, oh, my prayers have been answered. We're going to pick this off, and it ends up in a pass interference.
And the throw to Corley that time, a little back foot offer by Austin Reed. And they cross midfield on the stop by Jalen Jordan, but Malachi Corley is starting to warm up a little bit in the Hilltopper attack.
See the one-handed stab there?
Yep.
Nice catch by 11.
Well, he's proven to be as good as advertised too, Roddy.
He has.
Reed, a shot, and wide open is Smith. Goodness. At the 20, and Dalvin Smith will make it a 1st and 10 at the 17 of South Alabama.
It feels like this secondary's heads are spinning. They have no idea which way is up, who they've got. And Austin Reed looks like he's playing 7-on-7.
Here is Reed, another quick throw looking for Hall. And he quite come back and make the play. Defended by Luter again, but another look at the grab here.
I mean, it's either cover 3 and the corner gets caught too far inside, or it's man-to-man cover 1. looked like it was 3, and Luter gets caught too far inside. Wide open down the sideline is Dalvin Smith. Yam Banks was certainly playing like he thought he had help over the top.
Toughest thing Dalvin Smith had to do is get to the sideline for a water break. Everything else has been easy.
Honestly, it's wide open there, too.
Yeah. Under 5 to go now in this first half. And Hilltoppers right back on the attack after the interception by Oliver and a throw for Simon. Broken up by Luter. Senior from Hattiesburg. 7 plays of 20 or more yards, Roddy, already in the first half for Western Kentucky, who averages 7.5 a game.
What's frustrating for this South Alabama defense, the defensive line has not been impactful at all. And it's really because Austin Reed's getting the ball out so quickly, but even when he has had to wait a little bit longer, that offensive line has done an excellent job of protection.
Davion Irvin Poindexter in the backfield with Reed here for 3rd and full 10. Reed launching for Corley, and that's picked. Yam Banks. His 6th interception of the year, and that's going to live in the top 10.
What an unbelievable interception. You know, you're approaching Christmas, Wes. One of the staples of Christmas dinner is yams, and Yam has shown up. The one-handed stab, and maybe it gives South Alabama some life.
10, Roddy.
I mean, living in the top 10, when the yams are good, the meal is good, and Yam was good on that one.
Here's an outlet from Bradley, and this is McReynolds, and he'll pick up the first down. But let's go back to Yam Banks's 6th interception of the year.
I mean, this is as good an interception as I've seen in person ever. I mean, the ability to sky that high in the air, grab it with one hand, and bring it down to his body. I mean, that was fantastic and really needed from this defense.
Upton Stout makes the tackle on the hit on the perimeter, and there's Jalen Wayne, the leading receiver, 2nd team Sun Belt, making the grab. 2nd catch of the night for Wayne.
All right, South Alabama. All right, let's go and get a touchdown before halftime. If you can get it to 24-7, maybe sneak out a field goal at the end of the half, you're feeling pretty good. And that was a really nice drive they had on the last one before the pick.
Bradley rips one to Wayne, middle of the field, took a huge lick from Talik Allen. And Jalen Wayne, who been a little under the weather the last couple of days here in New Orleans leading up to kickoff tonight. Pile that one on top behind that.
It's a really nice catch going up and snagging it with his hands.
3.5 to go. Remember, the Jaguars may try to double up here. They get the ball to start the second half. Here's Bradley. Flushed. He'll shoot it here to the near side. Voisin stepped over a man and will have the first down. Inside the 35 to about the 31 here. And line change for the Hilltoppers on defense as South Alabama goes no huddle. And now a Tyson Helton timeout.
Timeout. Western Kentucky. Their 2nd timeout of the half.
Can't say how important it
lead.
would be for Kane Womack to get some points on the board here. Tyson Helton burns a timeout. Quick reminder to you, we got more college basketball for you tomorrow night over on ESPN2 and the app. First game of a triple-header. Number 4 Kansas welcomes Tommy Amaker's Harvard team to Allen Fieldhouse in the final matchup of these teams before holiday break. Coverage starts 7 o'clock Eastern, 6 Central. Jayhawks and Crimson played in 2015. 75-69 KU won. Last year's game shelved because of some COVID concerns on each campus. So look forward to more college basketball tonight. Many of you joined us tonight after North Carolina and Michigan played at Spectrum Center in Charlotte tonight. Part of the Jumpman Invitational.
Carolina started to get it going here a little bit.
Yeah.
Recently. A little bit of a run after that 4-game losing streak earlier this year. Hubert Davis's team that coming off the appearance in the national championship game last year.
In this building.
Yes, sir. Yep.
Here is Bradley out of the timeout. Dumps it on the screen. McReynolds, a nice move by the freshman. And Braylon McReynolds to the 15, and the whistle blows with just under 3 to go on the C.J. Jones tackle. And now all of a sudden, here's South Alabama hustling to the line, Roddy.
I really like Braylon McReynolds, not only the burst that he has, the juice, but also the energy that he's bringing to this offense.
A yard for McReynolds. Jones the stop for the Hilltoppers.
Here's the screen, well executed out of the timeout. You get the fake, the lineman release, and then a nice job down the field. You see big number 68, James Jackson, the center, throwing a block. And the burst from McReynolds.
There's a quick throw on the perimeter, and that's Sefcik, the tight end. Lincoln Sefcik, brought down by Davion Williams, transfer from Michigan State. There's 14 in the black helmet for Western. See Bradley perfect on the drive here for the Jaguars. McReynolds goes out, and Omni Wells is checked in. Third and 7. Bradley the throw, and looked like he was trying to go up top and looking for Wayne, but boy, there was plenty of traffic in the route, Roddy.
Yeah, I'm actually a little surprised that South Alabama opted to throw it here on what looks like an RPO. I think this gets tipped at the line. It sure does. It's Derek Smith, the former safety, going up. But our analytics had South Alabama as a recommended go for it at 4 yards and an iffy at 5, so you would have liked to have seen them play for that to try and get in a situation they could go for it, but not upset with them kicking the field goal here.
Diego Guajardo, who on the year 17 of 18 made his last 4, and he puts the Jaguars on the board with 98 seconds. So Guajardo's field goal with 1:38 to play gets Kane Womack's team on the board. We'll pause for 10 seconds. Here's a message from Ally.
The way you hope your team plays today is how confident you should feel about your savings. That's why we're all better off with an Ally. Back to you.
So Guajardo's field goal makes it 24-3. Bradley went 6 of 7 in the drive, Roddy. Prior to the drive, his night was 10 of 15 for 70 yards.
It's the second good drive that South Alabama's put together. The first one was derailed by the arm being hit and the interception. That one got bogged down close, and you have to kick the field goal. But this is a big stop for South Alabama on defense. And you're sort of playing the game here, but I would anticipate Kane Womack, if they run the ball, if Western Kentucky runs the ball, you're going to start to use those timeouts to try and get a score before half.
You see Meeks kicking it away, and there'll be no return for the Hilltoppers. But this has been all Tyson Helton's team in this opening half, and all riding the arm of Austin Reed.
Well, and riding the legs of Dalvin Smith, who scores the first touchdown there. And you get a situation where Austin Reed fires it up the seam to Joey Belgian for the second touchdown. Well, hey, Dalvin Smith, let's see if you can do it with more than just your legs. Oh, your arm too? Jalen Hall for the touchdown. They have been fantastic here in the first half, averaging over 11 yards per play.
And they get it to Hall, and a nice play in space that time.
Kane Womack's going to call a timeout.
Yep, sure is. Then the tackle made by Voisin. That's Jaden Voisin. First time we've called Jaden's name tonight. He had 17 tackles in their win against Southern Miss late in the campaign. And so Kane Womack's got some timeouts here, and he will have 2 left after that one, Roddy, I think, right?
Yeah,
yep.
You certainly will. And if you're Western Kentucky, I think you just do what you do.
No question.
Especially with the numbers that South Alabama is going to commit to stopping the run here, which they kind of have to.
Right.
You would think that they're anticipating run or something safe in the passing game to keep the clock running. Western Kentucky, you're playing with house money. I'd be surprised if they took a shot through the ball down the field or just ran a typical play. I mean, I don't think they're going conservative.
Smith, bottom of your screen. And here is Reed trying to get it to the tight end, Belgian, who had the touchdown earlier, and he's going to have the first down to the 36. Luter, the corner, shoved him out of bounds.
Really good little pick play, flash fake in the backfield, toss it out to the tight end, get a pick from the outside receiver. Now Western Kentucky, you're thinking points.
With 1:27 to go, Rodney, they got plenty of time in their world,
they have
right?
Eternity.
Yep. One timeout left for Tyson Help. Here's the quick throw, and that is Smith again. And, boy, he got racked up pretty quick. Luter there to lead the tackles for the Jaguars. There's Ben Arbuckle. Boy, he was great fun to talk to in our preparation here. And what a catch on his wallet for Michael Matheson.
When it's going well, it's going really well. I mean, for the guy to catch it sitting down, I don't know if that's great anticipation, a little bit of luck in there.
Right. And a minute to go and one timeout. Irvin Poindexter in motion. Here is Reed. He'll spin it middle of the field. Corley spins to the 28 and a first down. 50 seconds, 51 seconds to go. They move the chains on the Boyson tackle.
It's the danger of that early timeout. I mean, Kane Womack had to do it, but you call timeout on the first play, and it gives Western Kentucky all the time and encouragement in the world.
And Irvin Poindexter slides to the 20. Reed is over 300 yards in this first half now on 20 of 28. A timeout is taken now
Western Kentucky
by the Hilltoppers with 38 seconds left. And Irvin Poindexter shaken up on the play. We did see Marquis step earlier in the half. So they will come out, check on the running back for Tyson Helton.
Austin Reed came into this game, Wes, about 107 yards behind Michael Penix Jr. from Washington for the nation's lead.
Right.
In passing yards. And let me just say, he is putting the pressure on Penix, who's going to have to perform if he's going to be the leading passer in the country, performing the Alamo Bowl against Texas.
Taylor, it also is going to put pressure on the Jaguar defense the longer the night gets, too.
I mean, guys, there's just been so much material for the South Alabama defense to talk about down here on the sideline. Kane Womack has actually spent time with them talking switch vertical concepts, trick plays. They need halftime to really learn all that they're talking about in between series.
LT Sanders, Taylor, has checked in, and now we got a procedure call on the Hilltoppers with 38 seconds left.
Snap. False start, number 11, offense.
That's on
5-yard
Corley.
penalty remain, second down.
He and Hall on the same side of the field a moment ago.
And Wes, Taylor mentioned those switch vertical concepts. The thing that's been tough for South Alabama on defense, they haven't been able to cover them no matter who's running.
Right.
But they've run it with outside receiver slot. They've run it with slot receiver tight end. They've run it with slot receiver running back. Like, those concepts are easy to talk about in theory, but when they're coming from you at all angles.
And fast.
Yep.
And here is Reed off the timeout. Another back foot throw. What a catch at the 5. Matheson, who caught one on his fanny a moment ago, now catches one falling to the ground, and we've got an injured Jaguar, and it's Jaden Voisin who is shaken up.
It's just a fantastic back shoulder. Reed fades to his right just a little bit and then delivers it right on the hip. Great adjustment. And Ricky Fletcher, the true freshman, there on the coverage.
I mean, Matheson has caught 2 balls on his wallet here in this drive, Roddy.
Yeah, I would imagine it's the first Fanny reference that we've had of bowl season, but excellently done by you.
Yeah. I'd like to mix it up for you in the postseason.
I hope this continues to see how many other nouns you can come up for that part of the body.
Jaden Voisin is, tell you what, I mean, he immediately grabbed for the knee when he hit the ground a moment ago. And it is 1st and goal at the 6 with 32 seconds left to go. And
Voisin is such a big part of this defense.
Oh, yeah.
Let's take a look at how he goes down. There he is in the slot, and he's lined up against Dalvin Smith, and Smith actually beats him on the route. You get a little slip, and then goes down. Hope that he's all right.
C.J. Thompson has come in. Here's Reed to work now. That's Corley in motion. And here's Reed. Shoots it over the head of Dalvin Smith. I really like what Tyson Helt and Ben Arbuckle do, Roddy. When they move Reed, they're moving like 3 receivers across with it. Yeah. It's not, every once in a while you see an offense that's structured for 1 guy maybe. They got 3, and they got them at all different spots on the field.
Yeah, they roll out to the field. You have that flood concept, a guy deep, a guy intermediate, and a guy short. Well covered by South Alabama on defense. The thing that they do, though, is they'll sometimes start the movement and throw a screen back the other way. So it really makes you stay honest to your reads.
So here's Reed, this time to the short side, inside route, and tackled at the goal line is Matheson. And the clock continues to run here. Reed's trying to get the Hilltoppers lined up to spike it. 1 second to go. Now he's going to run the play with the clock winding down. And now we're going to get flags everywhere. And the Hilltoppers may get a free one on the house here at the end of the frame.
You're going to get, it looks like, in the area of roughing the passer in the backfield, pass interference in the end zone. And it was wise by Western Kentucky. There wasn't enough time to spike the football. If the clock's running, you need at least 3 seconds on the clock to be able to spike it. They didn't have a timeout, couldn't stop the clock. And so now they're going to have an opportunity to probably kick a field goal. Unless they want to go for it, which...
Now, Cal McNeil and his group have got to sort out the sequencing with the clock and where it was when the ball was snapped. They did not blow a whistle, I don't believe.
Pass interference, number 2 on defense. That penalty's declined. Personal foul, roughing the passer, number 95 defense. Half the distance to go, automatic first down.
Well, it looked to me live like they got the ball snapped with time on the clock. Okay. You see the pass interference in the end zone, and then you can see the late hit by Brock Higdon. Yeah, just unwise there, although it didn't matter. It didn't matter which one they accepted. They were going to get a shot from the end zone. And because it's on the defense, you get an untimed down. Watch the Austin Reed run here.
Yep. And now we got a Kane Womack timeout call.
Timeout, South Alabama. That's their second timeout of the half.
So the Jaguars are going to burn one. They got another one left. But the untimed down on the final play of this first half, and my goodness.
All right,
let's go back through the last 16 seconds, Roddy.
So Western Kentucky has no timeouts. Obviously, Matheson tackled short of the end zone. They line up. There's not enough time to spike the ball. Watch where this play is snapped. Less than 1 second. Not enough time. They go ahead and run the play. It has South Alabama really scrambling on defense for a defense that probably expected a spike in that formation and then obviously have to scramble to cover down the field. It's one of those little-known situations. It happens very seldomly. It could not happen for a few years on a team.
So trying to throw one on the fire, and now we get a penalty for a false start on Belgian, the tight end.
Kane Womack was trying to call a timeout. If he gets the timeout before the false start, then it's good.
Yeah.
There's no penalty on the play. Timeout, South Alabama. That's their third and final timeout of the half.
Can't even catch a break going to the locker room, can you?
One of those you can't win for losing. And look, Kane Womack it's the right thing to do.
Right.
You're sending them to another play in their book. You've kind of gotten to look at their formations twice. It looked like the first one was going to be a quarterback run, similar formation. You might have gotten it. But then you get the false start, and you're kicking yourself because if you just don't call the timeout, then obviously you'd be backed up 5 yards. and you'd like that a little bit more, but it's not your day, it's not your day. Although, this could be a big momentum play for this defense if you do get a stop on this play.
Yeah, because it's been a rugged half.
Yeah, I think that's kind.
Yeah, 434 yards in the opening half for Western Kentucky. And Austin Reed is 22 of 31 for 329.
Again, Austin Reed running the football has been a go-to in these situations.
Irvin Poindexter in the backfield with him. They'll toss it to Corley, going to the wide side. He'll score. How about that? 10 plays, 75 yards in 138. And on an up-time down, Malachi Corley goes into the end zone for the score.
All the flow is going one way. You get a couple of pullers going the other. Joshua Simon, the tight end, throws the block that makes it just a trot in the end zone for Malachi Corley. And it really puts an exclamation point on what was an absolute dominant half by Western Kentucky.
Now Corey Munson to make it 31-3. And the kick is good. So it's halftime of the R+L Carriers New Orleans Bowl. And it's been all Hilltoppers here in the opening 30 minutes. What a performance, Roddy.
We're going to run out of superlatives. Austin Reed was fantastic. Dalvin Smith, dominant. Malachi Corley, excellent. This entire team is playing with a confidence and a swagger that it's as incredible as we've seen, and we'll get Tyson Helton's thought. He's with Taylor.
Thanks, guys. All right, Coach, over 400 yards of total offense. What led to such a dominant first half?
Well, you know, we're just hitting on all cylinders right now, but it's a four-quarter game, and this football team in South Alabama, they're a four-quarter team. They've had a lot of good comebacks. We got to regroup in the locker room and make sure we keep applying pressure.
Now, conversely, your defense held one of the most efficient running games and running backs in LaDamian Webb to 33 yards. How do you continue that?
Well, you know, again, I think we're making good calls, and we're having a lot of explosive plays, you know, getting some TFLs, all those kind of things. Turnovers are critical. We got some big turnovers there down in the red zone. Again, we got to regroup, though, because South Alabama's a really good football team.
You told us this week you view bowl games as a championship. One more half to win it. How do you do it?
Well, championship mentality. You want to win, you got to have a championship mentality.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Taylor, thank you. Thanks to Tyson Helton. 4 quarters. Man, if we get 3 and 4 like 1 and 2, it'll be a Hilltopper kind of night. Off to Kevin Connors and Sam Acho. 31-3 at the...
Welcome back to Capital One Bowl Mania.
And the R+L Carriers New Orleans Bowl, part of Capital One Bowl Mania tonight. We're on the Bayou at the Caesars Superdome, and it is all Western Kentucky. 31-3 as we get ready for the second half. Welcome back upstairs with Roddy Jones, Wes Durham, Taylor Davis in just a moment. The Austin Reed show might be a bit of an understatement. He had a lot of help and a lot of guys going to play ball with him in the first half.
Well, he certainly hasn't done it himself, but it's been an absolute display of offensive prowess that he has been in charge of. This Western Kentucky offense was fantastic in the first half.
And South Alabama will start from its 25 and Taylor Davis.
I spoke with Kane Womack coming out of the locker room at halftime. I asked him how their offense is challenging them. He said, well, they've got trick plays, switch vertical concepts, wheel routes, and they're matching Malachi Corley very effectively, and we're not matching execution. He said, we're going to have to mix in some zone in this second half to play off their quarterback's eyes. And offensively, he said, we've got to win some man-to-mans, and we have to play more of a 2-minute style offense. That's going to be their plan in the second half to try and get more points on the board, guys.
Well, Roddy, there's one of your answers. Away from man and go to zone defensively, right?
Well, that's dangerous because then Austin Reed's going to have the ability to just find the open spots, pick you apart, but you got to do something.
And LaDamian Webb trying to get him going on the ground, and that's a face mask after a 5-yard run. I believe Jaquez Evans, who was over in the neighborhood, might be the guilty party. Ignat, the other linebacker, was also there, but we'll see who. Cal McNeil out of the Mountain West is flagged.
Personal foul, face mask, number 23, defense. 15 yards added to the end of the run, automatic first down.
There we go. It was Ignat.
Well, if you just grab it a little bit and let it go and it's called for 15 yards, it's the same penalty as if you get your money's worth. And that's one of those where you get your money's worth. Once you got it grabbed, you just hold on and make sure it goes down.
So the ball then to the 46 after the penalty. And here's Carter Bradley back to work. Shoots it here to the near side, and that was intended for Jamal Pritchett, the freshman from Jackson, Alabama, who started his career at Tuskegee. Now, there is some thought that we were going to see Pritchett and perhaps the South Dakota transfer Jeremiah Webb in the first half, and that never really materialized. But it sounds like Major Applewhite's kind of excited about the prospects of Pritchett and Webb in the throw game.
Yeah, and you mentioned Jalen Wayne a little under the weather this week. He's not in the game currently.
Here's another quick throw, and this is Pritchett the catch. Made a man miss, and will work his way to the 41, 42-yard line of Western Kentucky. That is the first catch of the year for Jamal Pritchett, who had 27 catches, 488 yards in his 1 year at Tuskegee. That's Pritchett in motion, and here's Bradley to throw again. And this is Webb out of the backfield. Got a nice block from Boyson. And a South Alabama first down to the 28-yard line. Derek Smith the tackle for the Hilltoppers.
Another good drive for South Alabama. This one's got to end in the end zone. Western Kentucky's done a really nice job as they've gotten to this part of the field of slowing down this attack the last few drives.
14-yard throw there. 1st and 10. Bradley, middle of the field. Boyson the catch. Slung around and dropped.
That was another face mask, and I think they missed it, Wes.
Ignat the tackle.
Yeah, the officials, from the naked eye, like Devin Boyson got caught in the helmet as well.
Changes in the defensive front. The official will hold the ball to allow Western Kentucky to match the substitution of South Alabama. Bradley and the Jaguars trying to do something here quickly with this opening possession of the second half, and Webb scooted around the would-be tackle of Williams but couldn't keep his feet. So now all of a sudden it's second and about 5.5, maybe 6 at the 11. And a quick snap here and throw on the perimeter, and this is the tight end Thomas Jones around the edge, and did he get in? He did. Touchdown for the Jaguars. After a really tough first half, Roddy, don't know you could script a better start to the second half for South Alabama.
Exactly. It was exactly what Kane Womack told Taylor after halftime. A little bit up-tempo offense. Did a nice job mixing up who they're going to. Ends up being DJ Thomas Jones that gets in the end zone. And it's a start. I mean, they got a long way to go still, but it's a start. And a good one in the second half.
7th play, 75 yards. The point after from Guajardo is good. And the Jaguars on the board with the touchdown.
It's just a called dump to the tight end the whole way. You get blockers on the perimeter, and then the speed of Thomas Jones, DJ Thomas Jones, to get in the end zone. And the thing that you have to do, you don't have to get it all back at one time. You don't have to get all 28 points is what they were down. You don't have to get it all at once. You just got to win. Offensively, you've got to win just about every time. But you want to get to the point where by the middle of the fourth quarter, Western Kentucky feels you.
Yep.
Like they can feel you coming up from behind to put pressure from a point standpoint, whether that's 10 points, 7 points. You want to make sure that they feel like you're breathing down their necks to put the pressure on them as you get later in the game.
Well, and to your point a moment ago, if in fact they switch man to zone here, Reed's going to have to help you a little bit. He's been so sharp in the first 30 minutes, right?
You would think it would take away some of the explosives down the field, certainly. You're going to make them work a little bit harder in that zone coverage.
Meeks will kick it away. Matheson at the goal line, going to bring it out for the Hilltoppers. Stop and start at the 20, and out to the 26 goes Michael Matheson. And that's where the Hilltoppers will get going here. Boy, and what a first half. Tyson Helton's offense had 434 yards, 354 passing. All but 25 of it belonged to Austin Reed.
Which is an abnormal stat, because usually they all belong to the starting quarterback. But Dalvin Smith, couple of passes.
And Ben Arbuckle, whose offense was spit shined in the opening 30, back to work here in half two, but South Alabama with a touchdown to start their proceedings. Quick throw, and this is Corley on the perimeter. And he is tackled. That's Thompson now, who came in the ball game to replace Jaden Boyson at the tail end of the first half. That's C.J. Thompson. Transfer from Northeast Oklahoma Junior College. Started his collegiate career at Fort Hays State. Originally from Tulsa. There's a throw. That's Hall, middle of the field. And my goodness, the beat goes on. That's Luter. He and Banks, the two of the better secondary players in the Sun Belt, making a stop. First and 10, and Reed. Another catch for Hall. And up the near sideline.
And this is a beautiful pass, and true to what we thought, true to what Kane Womack said, South Alabama in zone coverage. The issue is that there's holes in zone coverage. And so this is, it's feeling like a true situation where South Alabama doesn't have a good answer. You go man to man, and they've been torched over and over and over. But then you go zone, and without pressure, Austin Reed has all kinds of time to pick out the holes and be able to deliver football.
There's a Wildcat snap. Reed finally delivers a ball on the perimeter, but Simon can't hold on. So that will stymie a little bit of the progress here for the Hilltoppers.
Ben Arbuckle is a little heat check there. Let's put the running back at quarterback, Wildcat snap it, hand it to my quarterback, just roll out, try and throw it to the tight end. Ultimately, we've got 3rd and 5.
Ben drawing it up like he did in the dirt out in West Texas. Urban Poindexter, sidecar left of Austin Reed. Pressure coming from the Jaguars. That's Corley the catch and the get down at the 39 for the first down. Trey Kaiser, the linebacker, was there to tag him, if you will. I tell you what, Roddy, you and I watched Austin Reed in Western Kentucky on tape. He's a show in person. Here is Reed launching wide open Corley. He's going to walk in for the touchdown. My goodness, Roddy.
I mean, the play before where you convert on the 3rd down, and then the danger is that they go tempo. And South Alabama, I don't even know if they have the play calling. You got guys running all over the place. I think on the game plan, though, number 11 probably should have been the guy at the top of it. You can't forget to cover him wide open down the field. I believe it was a bit of a little half gritty into the end zone.
The South Alabama touchdown is countered with one by the Hilltoppers. Corley's got 7 for 114. 1 on the ground, and now 1 through the air. 38-10 at the New Orleans Bowl. Well, Malachi Corley, yeah, he's no problems tonight, Roddy. Scored 1 on the ground to end the first half. Now 1 through the air to start the second half. And you want to break down Austin Reed's dance game for me?
No, I'll break down his counting of 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah.
And that's 4 tutties that he's thrown. It's been a party here in New Orleans for the Hilltoppers. Seems like everything that Austin Reed throws ends up in the end zone.
Yep. Munson the kick. And coming off the line here is McReynolds, this young freshman from Mobile. Braylon McReynolds steps out of bounds. He averaged 21.3 during the course of the regular season. Was 5th in the Sun Belt and has a good one there to help the Jaguars. But the TD a moment ago is a breakdown.
Well, after the 3rd down conversion, Western Kentucky goes hyper-speed tempo. Corley's there, second to the bottom, and I don't even know what coverage this is supposed to be, but I know number 11 should be covered by somebody. You can see just the number of bodies that South Alabama's trying to get in position, and it's been a couple of times, and they've all been after first downs, after converted first downs, where Western Kentucky has gone incredibly fast, and it's caught in South Alabama off guard. 2 of those, Wes, have ended in touchdown.
Omni Wells is coming to the ball game. You see Sefcik move in motion. And here is Bradley, and this is Boyson trying to find some room. Cannot. And the play's taken down behind the line. That's what Tyson Elton talked about. And you're going to look at Trey Shaw and Brathwaite making the tackle there. That's what he was talking about at the half. We're playing well defensively to complement what we're doing offensively. And that's kind of been what Tyson Summers' ammo has been throughout the year. Remember, he talked yesterday about the offense and the defense helping one another. And tonight, it's on full display for the Hilltoppers.
Tyson Summers, a guy who has had coaching experience, and he basically said, look, we're looking to play complementary defense. This is an offensive team.
Yep, there's Wells back across the 45. It'll be 3rd down and short now for the Jaguars. There's Tyson Summers, previously the head coach at Georgia Southern, and spent some time in Florida, Colorado, around the Georgia program in the early years of Kirby Smart. And the ball near the 50-yard line and a first down on the carry by Wells, who's a transfer from Mississippi State.
And it was really interesting to hear him talk about his evolution as a defensive coordinator. Said that, look, we didn't have the personnel to do what I wanted to do defensively, so I had to rely on some of the guys on my staff that have pushed me to be very uncomfortable, playing a lot more odd fronts than he normally would like.
Bradley, long throw on the far side. The catch was made, Colin Lacey, but Upton Stout right there. Taylor to make the play for the Hilltoppers.
Yeah, Wes, well, Carter Bradley is going to have to continue in this game without one of his favorite targets. Like you both mentioned, wide receiver Jalen Wayne is not out there. I've got an official word. He is done for the game. He is on the sideline, no longer in pads or helmet. Younger guys will have to continue to step up.
Yeah, we've already seen Jamal Pritchett make a play. That was Colin Lacey on the back end. And here's Bradley hanging one for Pritchett. And he can't come back and make the play against Caleb Oliver, but a flag's been thrown. Now Pritchett's listed at 5'8", 169, Roddy, and he's coming to game, and he's become a problem.
Pass interference, number 20, defense. 15 yards from the previous spot, automatic first down.
It's been a bit of a spark plug for this South Al team. Gets down the field, beats Oliver. He's just scrambling as that ball's underthrown. Jamal Pritchett has been sort of a shot of energy.
Here is Bradley on first down. Going to loop one to the end zone. And Lacey there. And it got contested by Weber. But it's incomplete. Rome Weber, the transfer from Wyoming, who did not play in the regular season finale in Florida Atlantic, almost came away with a heck of a play.
Rome Weber, the safety in the middle of the field. He's trying to make the play, keep his feet in. There's a lot to think about for the safety. Ultimately doesn't quite get there. Or doesn't quite bring it in. First and foremost, he would have been out of bounds anyway.
So here is McReynolds now back in the ball game. Bradley, the play fake to the freshman, now on the screen game. And he broke away from Ignat, but only for a couple of more yards. And it's going to end up being 3rd and about 5 or so here for the Jaguars. Each school's had it once in this second half. Both produced touchdowns. Now South Alabama is having a hard time cutting into that deficit at halftime. Here's Bradley. Batted up in the air and incomplete. He's trying to get it to Boyson again. And might have been Hernandez, one of the defensive tackles.
Yeah, it was. Hernandez, look at his helmet. Tips that one up in the air, and they're fortunate Trey Shaw and A.J. Brathwaite hit each other, which actually helped the ball hit the ground.
Yep. So here's 4th down. 4th and 5 for the Jags. Bradley, far side, and intercepted. Upton Stout's got it, and the turf got him at the 36.
On the field is an interception by defense.
What an unbelievable play by Stout. Now the question's going to be, because it looked like the receiver had the ball in his hands initially, and then it's going down the ground. I think it was Colin Lacey that had the ball, but Upton Stout rips it out and returns it down the field.
Upton Stout saw Caleb Oliver take the interception lead in the first half with his 4th. He said, hang on a second, big fella. Let me get number 4. Back after this.
The R&L Carriers New Orleans Bowl is brought to you by Royal Shell. Come for a visit, stay for a lifetime.
Well, we work our way to the holiday weekend. Weather's starting to roll in here to the Bayou, by the way. Got some concern about temps in the 20s. Concern tonight for South Alabama has been Western Kentucky and both sides of the ball, Roddy. Upton Stout the latest.
It's a fantastic play by Upton Stout. I actually thought that Colin Lacey had it in his hands and had it ripped out, but Upton Stout comes in over the top and hits it, which forces the bobble, and then he's able to reel it in. Colin Lacey bummed, but it's an incredible play on the other side.
19th interception of the year, 32nd takeaway by Western Kentucky. Davion Urban Poindexter starts the drive for the Hilltoppers off the 36-yard.
Western Kentucky's defense came into this game with the most turnovers created in the country, most takeaways in the country. Moving up the list of interceptions. It came in 4th. Illinois leads the country at 22. Probably not going to get there tonight.
Darrell Luter, the tackle, slow to his feet. C.J. Rice also involved in that collision. Here's Reed, another throw off the hands of Dalvin Smith. By the way, Austin Reed now has got 413 yards. It's his 4th game of 400 or more this year, and it's a career high. And the Hilltoppers are averaging 10.2 yards per play tonight. Roddy Jones and Georgia Tech have the NCAA FBS record, 13 and a half against Turner Gill's Kansas Jayhawks at Grant Field in 2011.
It was a good day. It was a good day. Everybody ate.
Wait, I'm going to bring Taylor in on this in a moment. Here's Reed on 2nd and the full 10, and he will step out of bounds in midfield. Now, Taylor, for the record.
Yes.
Roddy caught a touchdown pass and had a rushing score. Oh, and we got pictures. We even went back and got pictures.
I love it.
Roddy, there's 2-0 in action.
It was a good day. When the play calls were as on as they were that day, it was easy.
Yeah, Taylor.
Can't hide greatness.
No,
Roddy.
cannot hide greatness. Hall of Fame greatness, as we recognized earlier this year, huh?
We're so proud.
Right? High school Hall of Fame. Let's not get too ahead of ourselves.
Hall of Fames are Hall of Fames, my man. But you guys have the record. So Orwin Smith, Embry Peoples, Tevin Washington, all those guys watching in tonight, checking on their old teammate. We got him some love. Here's Reed. Poindexter wide open at the 20 and down to the 16. C.J. Thompson the tackle. And for the time being, you guys are doing okay. But
fortunately for that record, Western Kentucky, it has the ball a lot, which means a lot of plays.
Yeah.
So it certainly is in danger. The impressive thing about this, though, this is the last play. You're going to see Poindexter on the play action, and then there's nobody there. I mean, how many times have we seen this tonight? And it goes back to something that Taylor's mentioned a couple of times, those switch releases. That's basically, at its essence, what that is. You get a post from the backside receiver, and then off the play action, a wheel from the running back.
Right.
South Alabama has lost track of that wheel so many times, whether it's come out of the backfield, from tight end, from slot. Western Kentucky's just pounding it.
And Davion Irvin Poindexter lowers his shoulder on the second down play. So now it's 3rd and roughly 7 to go here. Ed Smith the stop. Freshman from Tuscaloosa, part of this program for the Jaguars. And Marquis Stepp's going to check into the ball game now for Tyson Helton. 45-year-old graduate of Houston. Of course, his dad was Kim Helton, who a terrific football coach through the years, and he's an offensive analyst for his son. And his older brother is the head coach at Georgia Southern.
Clay is in the building tonight on the sideline supporting him.
Yep. And here's Austin Reed with pressure coming, and Dalvin Smith could not hang on the 3rd down play.
And that's about the first time today we've seen Austin Reed on his fanny.
Yep.
I mean, he has largely been unpressured for most of the game. Jamie Sheriff doing a nice job with the pressure. The offensive line's been fantastic, and it forces another Western Kentucky field goal.
Yep. Narveson not going tonight, so Corey Munson missed his first one tonight from 34. Did hit from 23 in the first half, and this is 31. And the kick from Munson is good. And the Hilltoppers push it to a 41-10 lead in New Orleans at the R&L Carriers New Orleans Bowl. We finished with the Eastern Michigan Eagles tossing the potatoes.
Chris Creighton going, juggling, tossing.
Hey, well, this is the Challenge Cup standings brought to you by Progressive in our Bowl Challenge Cup. Sunbelt 3-0 with 4 remaining, including tonight. And boy, Commissioner Keith Gill, it's an uphill fight for his Jaguars out of South Alabama. And as I say that, Braylon McReynolds runs it out near the 35-yard line. But already wins from Troy, Southern Miss. We saw Frank Gore Jr. in those highlights, Roddy.
Auntie Chill!
And Marshall with Louisiana, Georgia Southern, and Coastal Carolina still to come with the Sun Belt. Meanwhile, Conference USA trying to pick up an important win tonight in their postseason destinations as well.
Frank Gore Jr.'s performance, 329 yards in that bowl game. If I was his uncle, I would have been all over it too. He'd had to tell me to chill.
Under 5 to go here in the 3rd. And Carter Bradley going to work. Play fake to Webb, and Bradley had it batted in the air and almost intercepted. Broderick Martin got a hand on it. And then, yeah, Broderick, you were close.
Even when they haven't been able to get to Carter Bradley, there's such push from this Western Kentucky defensive front that they're able to get close enough to get their hands on the ball, and that is a mountain of a man.
My goodness. It was interesting to listen to Tyson Summers talk about him yesterday, and that, I mean, he's a big man, legitimate, like 350, 335, and can make moves. And here's Boyson behind the defense for the first time tonight for South Alabama. Trey Shaw saved the touchdown, Roddy.
A little bit of explosiveness in the South Alabama offense. Devin Boyson beats Trey Shaw down the field. It's a nice throw, nice delivery by Carter Bradley.
Shaw, who's from the Atlanta area at Ellenwood, Georgia, started his college career at Carolina. But he got beat there. So now off the 19. And this is LaDamian Webb trying to get to the edge, and he will get to the 9, and I think have a 1st and goal scenario on the Simpkins tackle. And with just better than 4 minutes to go, the Jaguars in the 3rd, threatening again. Webb will dive for a couple more there to the 5.
Or how this ends up for South Alabama. They have had an incredible year, and certainly knocking on the door, they're going to continue to fight, although with every tick of the clock, it becomes a harder and harder battle to get back in this thing. But it's a team that's had a special season, and the first 3 quarters of this game have not gone the way that they anticipated, but that doesn't take away from this year.
Here's Bradley from the pocket, now going to be flushed and just shoots it to Webb, who will score a little shovel pass. Pretty heady play by Carter Bradley, because whatever he was looking for wasn't going to happen across the line of scrimmage.
Certainly wasn't going to happen in the time that he had. So you start to scramble, see a little opening, maybe get a run for it, but shovels it to his running back, who's able to dive into the end zone. Start to do the math in your head. Okay, how much time do we have left? How many more touchdowns do we need? The answer is not enough, most likely, and a lot.
5 plays, 66 yards, under 2 minutes for Bradley's second touchdown pass of the night, his 27th of the year, and that one to LaDamian Webb.
You can see what he's looking for. So you've got the little flare at the bottom. He's looking for the receiver coming all the way across the field. Doesn't like what he sees and goes back to Webb on the backside. Just dives into the end zone. The offense has found a little bit of life. The thing is, it just took them so long to get going. And on the other side, Western Kentucky was just an avalanche out of the gate.
Yep. I mean, the Hilltoppers had 3 touchdowns in their first 4 possessions. 5 touchdowns in 7 first half possessions. And they're 1 for 2 in touchdowns here in the second half already. Jakari Moses is deep along with Matheson for Western Kentucky. And Jacob Meeks ready to kick it away. And there'll be no return by Matheson, so the Hilltoppers will go from their 25-yard line. Don't forget, tomorrow night, the Lockheed Martin Armed Forces Bowl. Richard Reese, the rookie running back in Baylor, against Air Force, and Brad Roberts, who's 3rd among all FBS backs in total yards, and he's got 15 touchdowns. Coverage starts 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific. ESPN, ESPN Deportes, and of course always available on the ESPN app.
The job that Troy Calhoun has done out there at Air Force this year, winning the Commander-in-Chief's trophy.
Yep.
As a program that has been as consistent as just about any in the country during his tenure.
Reed back to work with Irvin Poindexter in the backfield. He'll get the call and pick up 8 on first down. Out to the 33-yard line. James Miller, the Indiana transfer, came over when Kane Womack took the job as he was the defensive coordinator in Indiana for Tom Allen. There's a throw, and boy, what a terrific effort Hall almost makes. Battling C.J. Thompson in front of the Hilltopper bench.
That was an audacious throw. C.J. Thompson is under that route, and Austin Reed just fires it where his receiver is the only guy that's going to get there.
Yeah.
He's feeling it tonight.
Well, with the lead, it's one thing. But when the game was going, like early, Austin Reed was a gunslinger in this building, Roddy.
Yeah, I'm not sure that there was that tight of coverage until about the 3rd quarter, though.
And here's Reed. Bounces off one and will pick up the 3rd down conversion with the dive to the 36. And look, we talked about the 10 days he checked out the landscape, if you will. I mean, we're talking about a guy coming back who's, let's see, tonight he's at 448 yards. So add that to his season total. And you know about me and math, by the way.
I make calculators for things like that.
Well, he's almost to 4750, Roddy.
Came in a little over 100 yards behind Michael Penix at Washington. He's got Texas later on in the Alamo Bowl.
Well, and Taylor, here's the other thing, too. The offseason in college football, the hype train can start rolling for some people, right?
Well, it's definitely going now, but I think his season story is so interesting. He told me to start the year, I was just looking to win my first ever D1 football game. That's how this thing started. So to see where he's come, it's just a testament to the program's fit for him. And I thought it was interesting, Coach Hilton said that he actually sees similarities in him and Sam Darnold. He coached him at USC in his early days, said great raw talent, but didn't always know where it was going, and now he's seeing, he's anticipating, he's looking for indicators. And you know, Austin told me he wants an offseason to perfect an offense, not start over.
Well, and then I found our visit with Tyson Summers interesting too, right, Roddy? About, hey, look, it's not maybe technically there's a strike for a first down potentially at the 46. That is ruled a catch by Jalen Hall, who, by the way, came over from Western Michigan. So it's 4th and short, and for the first time tonight, we're going to see Tom Ellard punt the football.
This may be as much like hey, let's get this guy the experience of playing in the bowl game, because a 4th and 1 in this area of the field is almost always a go, but when you're up this big, let's get the punter the experience.
So Ellard will drive it away. Young man from the Pro Kick Australia program, and Colin Lacey signals for and makes the fair catch right around the 20-yard line. Quick reminder to you, the college football playoff semifinals are Saturday, December 31st on ESPN and the ESPN app. First up, number 2 Michigan and number 3 TCU in the Verbo Fiesta Bowl at 4 Eastern, noon Pacific. Then it's number 1 Georgia and number 4 Ohio State in the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. The winners play Monday, January 9th at SoFi Stadium in Los Angeles on ESPN. And here's our championship predictors. Going to be interesting to see how 1 versus 4 and 2 versus 3 shake out. Off the 21 goes South Alabama here in the final 77 seconds of this third period. And Bradley hands the ball to Omni Wells, who will pick up about 3 or 4 on the play. We're just getting started though with Capital One Bowl Mania. This is still the first full week of ball games.
Got some really good ones too. Some excellent performances. Austin Reed's performance today is certainly going to go down. Maybe not quite on the level of that Frank Gore performance, but an incredible one.
Looking for Colin Lacey, incomplete. Coming up on 3rd down, Taylor.
Well, guys, Devin Boyson is out there right now, but he actually spent substantial time in the medical tent getting his foot wrapped. It actually got rolled up on that big catch he had on the last possessions. Trainer said that they wrapped it and he was going to be able to go out there, but he's going to be monitoring it. He's got a substantial limp when he's over here on the sideline, so we'll see how long he can go.
Yeah, he came in. There was some question about his availability period at the end of the regular season. He's been a gamer tonight, and 9 catches for 120 tonight for the Jaguars. Here's Bradley forced up in the pocket, and he'll be sacked. Mike Allen wrapped him up. Transfer from Wake Forest, 5th-year guy, 290 pounds.
Derek Smith off the edge causes this too. Wins immediately, pushes Carter Bradley up into the pocket, into the waiting arms of Mike Allen. But number 24, Derek Smith, the versatility that he has, former safety, playing that Mike linebacker position. You saw him there rushing off the edge. And then Mike Allen winning in the middle, able to get the sack.
Now he's from Trinity in Jacksonville, is Derek Smith. And Mike Allen, of course, came over to the Hilltopper program from Wake Forest. There's the fair catch call for by K.D. Hutchinson. And that will be the final play of the 3rd period. So 3 quarters in the books in New Orleans at the R&L Carriers New Orleans Bowl. Austin Reed, you're in line for the game ball, my man. This season, All-State will celebrate every field goal and extra point made by participating universities by making a donation to the university's General Scholarship Fund. Thank you, All-State. We welcome you back to the Caesars Superdome in New Orleans, and to the winner go the spoils, the R&L Carriers New Orleans Bowl trophy, and Western Kentucky in command as we go to the final 15 minutes of play. And Austin Reed has been terrific. 32 of 46, 457 yards, and 4 touchdowns tonight. And Davion Irvin Poindexter trying to make something happen here on the ground, and Jaguars rallied to the football pretty quick, and they'll be trapped for a loss of about 2 on the play. Here's a look at the stats through 3 quarters, Rod.
I'm disappointed in the rush yards of Western Kentucky. As a former running back, I think they should really focus on that. Maybe as an improvement next time they decide to take the field. I mean, honestly, all seriousness, they have been incredible today offensively. Austin Reed's been on it. The game plan against South Alabama has been magnificent as well, and it's made life easier on Austin Reed, but he certainly made the throws.
Here's Malachi Corley, and a terrific play. Jalen Jordan making the play in space. Junior transfer from Ole Miss. Came into the ball game with 53 tackles out of the secondary for Corey Batum. And now all of a sudden it's 3rd and 13 for the Hilltoppers. Hutchinson has come in the ball game at one of the wide receiver spots. We saw him field a punt a moment ago, and Reed, the play clock winding down here. He'll take a timeout. They sure are. So Tyson Helton.
Timeout, Western Kentucky. The first timeout of the half.
And we will step aside as well. Here in New Orleans, Top's in charge. Well, you said earlier, Austin Reed bidding to help Western Kentucky kind of be QBU here, Roddy. Mike White going for the Jets. Hey, Bailey Zappi, huh?
Incredible numbers last year out there starting some games for the Patriots.
Look at this guy.
All Austin Reed has done is continue the legacy. And how about this offense being what they are, despite losing Bailey Zappi, despite losing Zach Kitley?
Yeah, who's the OC at Texas Tech. Here's Reed, and that's a first down. Threw it to the number for Dalvin Smith, who makes a grab right at the 40 and a first down.
Going back to something that Taylor said earlier about the comparisons that Tyson Helton made, Austin Reed and Sam Darnold.
Yeah.
I mean, once he really masters this offense, what is this offense going to be? It could be absolutely incredible next year.
What a grab. Is that Jalen Hall? No, couldn't hang on. Thought for a moment Jalen Hall had teed one up for catch of the night.
Yam Banks would like to have a word about catch of the night, but this one's going to be in contention.
Yeah, it was.
Laying out full extension. I think the easier thing that is going to be finding a Western Kentucky receiver that has not had an incredible night tonight. 3 of them over 100 yards. Corley, Hall, Smith.
Yep. Dalvin Smith felt like he was over 100 yards in the first quarter. Here's Reed right over the top of the coverage, and Dalvin Smith rolls another one in. 49-yard line, another first down for the Hilltoppers. Goodness.
You mentioned the second or the end of the season that Dalvin Smith has. I mean, it has really felt like he has found his place in this offense and really earned the trust of Austin Reed.
And Smith dropped one. A bullet from Reed at the 33 goes incomplete.
Come on, man. I was just talking good about you in front of company. Austin
Reed has set a new New Orleans Bowl record for passing yards, 480 tonight, on 35 of 51.
guy that came in. Obviously, we talked about it, second in the country in pass yardage. Ben Arbuckle has been in his bag tonight. Seems like everything he's called has turned to gold. But Austin Reed, the accuracy, the confidence, and maybe it is those bold practices that have really helped his mastery.
Here is Reed back across the middle and tried to throw to Irvin Poindexter as running back. Instead, it'll be 3rd down and 10. Davion Irvin Poindexter got caught up in the traffic there. And he'll come out, and Marquise Stepp will replace him. This has been some kind of show Tyson Helton's team's put on tonight. And, Roddy, I want to go back to the defensive compliment. It's a free play here. And the throw and caught on the backside. And out of bounds is Hall. Another grab for Jalen Hall. It'll be a 1st down. It was a free play anyway at the 32.
Offsides, number 14, defense. That penalty's declined. Results in plays, 1st down.
So the defense has added to the offensive explosiveness, and it's made for a tough night for Kane Womack in South Alabama.
It has. This will be certainly a forgettable one, and it's a forgettable bowl in terms of the result. But this is one that South Alabama needs to use the entire offseason. This is going to be a really good football team next year.
Absolutely.
When you look at everything that they're going to get back on both sides of the football, I was in a situation where we had a team that was very good in 2008. We played LSU in the Peach Bowl in 2000 on December 31st, 2008. Got beat 38-3.
Yep.
And it was an awful experience, but it motivated us that entire offseason. And that's what South Alabama is going to do with this. They're going to think about this game every single day of the offseason. And the fact that they're going to end without a bowl win, without a championship. And you would hope that Kane Womack's team uses this to achieve what I think they're capable of, which is winning the Sun Belt and maybe being the representative for the Group of 5 in the New Year's Six next year. It's that kind of team that he's got.
And Taylor, here's the interesting part, and I thought his comments yesterday with us were interesting because yes, you're coaching this season, but you also coach your program at times, right? And Kane Womack is completely familiar and embracing the program expectations in Mobile.
Absolutely. He said that this was both a culmination of this season, but also a statement about where the program is headed. And look, they're not going to be happy with this result. They're not going to be happy with how this game transpired. But these guys have rallied around this program and coaching staff. They have a set goal in mind. They know where they're headed. And like Coach Womack said, people are paying attention to South Alabama football now.
Yep.
And I think the buy-in amongst his players is evident. Not only that, but the buy-in amongst his coaches. I mean, Corey Batoon, it's been a tough night, but if you listen to the coaching chatter, Kane Womack had some options to go elsewhere. Major Applewhite had some options to go elsewhere. There were people coming after these coaches, and likely the players too. And when you look at the coaching staff, they know they have a chance to be special, and they're building something there in Mobile. And Kane Womack is a rising star in this industry. He is going to be a great coach for a long time.
Yeah.
This is just a small speed.
And Roddy, here's the other part about it. We said at the top tonight, 2 of the faster rising young coaches. Now, Tyson Helton is 45 years of age. Kane Womack is 35. But both are sons of coaches, right? I mean, they've got really good staffs and support systems. They've got very supportive ADs and institutions, and oh, by the way, 2 conferences that if you can run the table based on some of your non-conference games, you can be where Willie Fritz has Tulane.
Especially in the Sun Belt next year. We'll see what Conference USA is. But the Sun Belt is going to be probably the best Group of 5 conference from top to bottom. When you look at what the additions to the league did this year, from Marshall with the big wins that they had and obviously ending up with a bowl win. You look at what James Madison did entering the league.
Yep.
And then you add that to some really talented. I mean, look at what John Summerall did at Troy.
Yeah. By the way, there is Kim Helton, offensive analyst for his son. And what a nice touch that is. It's got to be fun if you're Tyson to have your dad around, huh?
I would say so.
31-yard try for Munson. And that field goal is good. We will step aside here in New Orleans. 9:24 to go. An important kick for some. 44-17.
The Arendelle Carriers New Orleans Bowl is brought to you by Arendelle Global Logistics, worldwide logistics and supply chain solutions.
Dancing with the Stars, Roddy?
It's a good thing the play has been better than the dancing.
All right, so just married. We're looking for the to-do list. The beignets.
Congratulations.
Check. They got hitched. Watch the Tops win.
We're going to check that one off.
Well, hey, now, somebody's working in the Clark County tonight.
I hope that was not just a sign. I hope for your sake that you put your money where your mouth was.
Tyson Helton on the way to what would be career win 32 and his third in 4 bowl games. And Munson's kick. And here at the near side, this is Pritchett taking off again. Jamal Pritchett, who's seen some action here tonight for the Jaguars, especially in the second half, but he is taken down around the 15-yard line. So Carter Bradley and the Jaguars backed up here. With 9:16 to play.
You talk about things like pride. You talk about fighting to the last snap. You talk about one of the big things at South Alabama. One of their mantras is LOE, love each other.
Yeah.
These are the type of scenarios where all of that is put to the test. You don't want to be here anymore. You want the game to end. But it's about going out and playing hard, because for some of these guys, this is the last football game they'll ever play.
That's correct. And catch by Pritchett. Oh, excuse me. Reynolds out of the backfield catches it over the 21. Davion Williams, the tackle. The interesting thing here, and we touched on this with South Alabama a little bit. I mean, they, even in their notes talking about the game here, they open the season next year down the street against Tulane, who of course is playing in the Cotton Bowl against Southern California in the Heisman Trophy, right? And you look at a Western Kentucky, Roddy, they had signing day today, both these programs.
Yeah.
I mean, on top of playing the game today, they welcomed transfers and high school signees and things like that, continuing to build their program. The other aspect about these programs is that, and we touched on this with Austin Reed to a degree, you know, Jaquez Evans, who we spoke of earlier, the guys that went into the portal, came out, they want to continue to play in Bowling Green. There's a first down catch by Colin Lacey. Well, that's the same thing, too, that impacts South Alabama. The roster management at this level, in some ways, is even more volatile than it is at the Power 5 level.
And yet, you get the sense with both of these coaches that they don't mind it at all. Certainly, it makes their job harder in some areas, but Tyson Helton brought in over 20 transfers last year, and will likely do the same this year.
Yeah.
Because Western Kentucky's at an interesting position, and South Alabama too. You're a very good group of 5 school, so Power 5 guys that want more playing time are going to transfer down to you. And then you can find an Austin Reed out of Division II or guys out of FCS that want to transfer up that maybe don't fit the Power 5s. So it's actually an interesting place for these to be. Now, you're going to be picked off some, but it can work for you.
A break in the action. Shaw is the injured player for the Hilltoppers. Well, the college football playoff semifinals megacast is on Saturday, December 31st on ESPN and across the family of networks, with Michigan and TCU in the Verbo Fiesta Bowl. And then, of course, you got Georgia and Ohio State in the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. You see all that's available on the app. And then you see what's available on the family of networks. Hometown radio calls, bands. Shoot, you got it all.
How many screens you have at home?
I think you got to go 3 that day at least. Here's Bradley eluding the pressure. Cuts it loose downfield. We're going to get a flag for pass interference. Devin Voisin was the intended receiver. And it looked like A.J. Brathwaite was a little grabby.
Pass interference, number 2, defense. 15 yards from previous spot, automatic, first down.
There we go. With 7:20 to go.
A little grabby is a good way to describe it. The pressure again, though, and Tyson Summers has dialed it up. Even when he hasn't dialed it up, they've been able to create pressure with 3- and 4-man rushes.
Here comes some more pressure. Bradley got crushed as he cut it loose. Was trying to get it to Colin Lacey, and boy, Carter Bradley took a shot from Rome Weber.
We talked about Mike White earlier in the broadcast. That was a Mike White-esque shot to the midsection. Oh, man. It looked eerily similar to Mike White. Maybe not quite as vicious, but that is the hardest for a quarterback because you're throwing, you are completely exposed in the middle. You get hit right
Cal McNeil,
in the midsection.
The official asked for timeout. The referee, Carter Bradley's going to go off the field here. Desmond Trotter is warming up for the Jaguars. There's a look at Trotter from Irondale, Alabama. Don't forget, coming up on Christmas Day, the NBA on Christmas Day tradition continues. 5 star-studded games on ESPN and ABC. Sixers Knicks from MSG starts the day at noon. Then Lakers Mavs from Dallas, Bucks and Celtics from Boston. Grizzly and Warriors.
Give me that one.
I'll take the Suns and Nuggets after what the Joker did last night.
Give me John Steph. That's what I want. Steph gonna be back? I hope
so. You're hedging.
Yeah.
Here is Trotter now, second in the full 10. Desmond Trotter is 14 of 18 passing this season. And he throws a Completion to DJ Thomas Jones, who picks up the first down for the Jaguars, and one and done is Desmond Trotter, Rowdy.
Carter Bradley just needed a play to catch his breath. This is
17-yard throw there, huh?
Yeah, it's pretty good one and done. You know, cold off the bench, go out, hit a 3, come back in, sit back down.
So here is Bradley. And a quick throw to the near side, and that's caught by Lacey. And a tackle made right away out of the secondary by Darius Thomas. As we work our way towards 6.5 to go.
We have talked a couple of times about Ben Arbuckle and Austin Reed, but how Major Applewhite and Carter Bradley grow this offseason. It's really one of the big determining factors on how good this crew can be.
More pressure on Bradley, hit as he throws again by Weber, and incomplete. And so the Jaguars will reset. Sepsic was the intended receiver.
Yeah, there's pressure right away. Good free hitter coming off from the field. That's Rome Weber. Nice little shot to Carter Bradley. He's been harassed all night, as we've talked about a number of times. And I think if you're South Alabama, one of the big areas of improvement for them next year, especially after the performance that we've seen tonight and some earlier, is the offensive line.
Long throw into the corner and over the shoulder to Boyson. Hold on, he did. On a night when we've seen some spectacular catches, Devin Boyson, a 12-yard touchdown catch. Carter Bradley throws his third TD of the night for the Jaguars.
It's a beautiful throw and catch. Shoulder pads being held a little bit, fading away. Like he was able to haul it in cleanly. Completes the catch when it hits the ground. Davion Williams on the coverage, but can't defend a perfect pass and a perfect catch.
9 plays, 84 yards. And the point after from Guajardo is good.
I think he missed it, Wes.
Timeout on the field.
Oh, did he miss it? Sorry, you're right. Thank you. 10 catches for Boyson and a touchdown. (44-23) ahead of 6 minutes to go at the R&L Carriers New Orleans Bowl tonight, part of Capital One's Bowl Mania, with Roddy Jones, Taylor Davis, Wes Durham, Seth Miller, our producer, Johnny Hanna, our director. We've had a terrific crew and a great time here the last couple of days in New Orleans. And the hospitality shown these teams has been well received as well. They are incredibly appreciative of all the work that's been done.
Tyson Helton's going to have to call a timeout. South Alabama came out
Western
in
Kentucky.
onside kick formation.
Second timeout of the half.
30-second Kentucky
timeout.
was in a traditional kickoff return formation. They get a little jersey switch, of course. Oh, 65.
Well,
Coach, I can't. No, Coach. Coach, I don't care what the circumstance is. You can't go from 3 to 65.
Can't take my single digit.
That's criminal.
Well, and here's why. Because the other 3 is also on the field. Jaquez Evans. And that is Jakari Moses. So, NCAA rule, we'll let you have double numbers. They just can't be on the field at the same time.
Coach, you couldn't put me in 85.
And the hands team coming out for South Alabama, or the onside kick team. So the hands response here from Tyson Helton, and nobody deep, by the way, for the Hilltop.
No, of course not. And the reason they go with an offensive lineman jersey, because those are the only jerseys big enough to fit over the pads and another jersey.
Yeah. And there's the onside try, and it hit a Hilltopper and bounced out of bounds. So it will stay with Western Kentucky. And now for tonight's Capital One player of the game, Roddy Jones.
It could only be one guy. That's the first touchdown pass to Dalvin Smith. This one up the seam to Joey Beljan. Austin Reed's been fantastic. He's done it a myriad of different ways. This one just a little pop pass, little touch pass, and then up the seam again. And I think the most impressive thing is just the consistency and the accuracy deep over the course of this game. He's had a lot of open receivers, but Austin Reed has been absolutely fantastic during this one.
He's our Capital One player of the game. From St. Augustine Beach, Florida, and started his career at West Florida Division II, and he's put on a show here at the FBS level. Matheson the catch and tackle into the Hilltopper bench area. We go inside of 6 minutes to play.
You know, Wes Taylor mentioned this earlier today about talking to Austin Reed about his journey. Like, this was a guy that was playing Division II football a year ago. Division II. And now he's going to go into next year as one of the top quarterbacks in the country.
Yep.
In FBS. A guy who may have suitors after this game. A guy who's going to certainly be either first team, second team, probably first team All-Conference USA coming into next season. I mean, what a difference a year can make and an opportunity can make.
Well, remember, too, he's playing quarterback in a league that's got terrific quarterback talent, as does the Sun Belt. We were talking about Carter Bradley. They got terrific quarterback talent. And these two leagues have just been more consistent than, you know, just about anything else in G5, right?
Yeah.
In the group of five. And that's where, you know, you start to sense, hey, look at this. And look at we talk about the volatile landscape of college football right now, Roddy. Anything's possible. Yeah. Don't forget, coming up next, Sports Center. Scott Van Pelt on a Wednesday night. Knicks and Nets defend their winning streaks. Head-to-head NFL picks with Stanford Steve in Week 16, and a sad day in football, especially in the Steel City. I mean, within days of the 50th anniversary of the Immaculate Reception, today we lost Franco Harris.
During the play, the review showed an incomplete pass. The ball skipped. We go back to the previous spot, second down.
So there we have it, an incomplete pass. By the way, that will take Austin Reed from more than 500 yards passing to less than 500 yards passing.
What a tease there.
Had it for a minute.
It's been taken away.
497 is now the number for Reed.
Gonna have to earn that 3 yards again.
LT Sanders is checked into the ball game for the Hilltoppers at the running back spot. Freshman from Gardendale, Alabama. He had a 120-yard game earlier this year. And here is Sanders on the carry. And he got a yard, maybe two. Third and long coming up. Zeke Chapman the stop for South Alabama. Sunbelt will take their first loss tonight in this postseason with a couple more left to go. Conference USA's
timeout. South Alabama.
Split. I think they're 1 and 2 in their first three, right?
30-second timeout.
And plenty more to go.
It'll be interesting to see how Conference USA develops next year. Western Kentucky with Austin Reed back, Malachi Corley back. Likely be one of the favorites, but there's a lot of turnover. You've got new coaches at UAB with Trent Dilfer coming in, FAU with Tom Herman taking over that program.
Yeah, UAB was a winner in the Bahamas, of course. UTSA in Troy was a terrific game.
It was a great game.
Yeah.
It was a great game.
Boy, John Summerall's done a marvelous job with the Trojans. North Texas lost to Boise State. Still to come, Middle Tennessee State, by the way, on Saturday night against San Diego State in Hawaii.
And North Texas getting a new coach, Eric Morris, the offensive coordinator at Washington State, formerly at Incarnate Word.
Yeah.
Takes over at North Texas, a place that has had success under Seth Luttrell and just kind of hit a little bit of a stall. And then Charlotte,
timeout.
which
South Alabama. Their second timeout of the half. 30-second timeout.
See, South Alabama calls a timeout, but Tyson Helton sent the punt unit on.
And then the last one, Charlotte.
Oh, yeah.
Getting a new coach. Biff Poggi comes down from Michigan to be the head coach of the 49ers, a school that, I mean, it just feels like that's an untapped school in the conference. with the proximity to talent that Charlotte allows you.
Yep, Mike Hill, the athletics director there, made a quick hire once the regular season kind of came to a close. You can't argue. Bill Bogey, by the way, staying with Michigan through their CFP run,
which is certainly admirable. You got to finish the job there.
Colin Lacey will wait on the punt here of Tom Ellard. And he got that away left-footed, hoping to check it up here. And boy, look at the Hilltoppers run downfield and touch it up inside the 5. Dalvin Smith caught the first touchdown pass of the night, and he runs a punt down inside the 5.
Maybe his best play of the game, honestly.
A terrific play on the punt cover unit for Dalvin Smith of Western Kentucky, who's had quite a night. He's caught one, thrown for one, and now trapped the Jaguars deep in their own territory inside of 5 minutes. Don't forget, tune into the ESPN app at the conclusion of our game tonight for the Capital One postgame. Immediately following the game, Taylor Davis will be presenting the Hilltoppers with the championship trophy.
I'm tuning in.
Absolutely. On a night where Austin Reed and Western Kentucky took the top off this place in the first 6 snaps and never looked back, to be honest with you. Bradley from inside his own 5 zips one by the tight end Thomas Jones, incomplete.
Wes, do you think that was the color of Santa's beard before he aged? Like, do you think it was that? I mean, it's a little obstructed now by his son. But you can see like the dark fullness of the beard. That's a great Santa beard. In like 30 years, it'll be a good Santa.
Santa in his 20s. Is this what you're saying to me? Is that Santa in his 20s?
Was Santa Claus ever young? I think so. I mean,
absolutely. Yeah. Like when people just called him Chris Kringle.
Well, that's what the song Santa Baby's about. It's about baby Santa.
Oh my goodness. Carter Bradley to the 10. It'll be 3rd and short. There you go. Yeah.
I mean, it's like.
Yeah, that's Santa in his 20s.
When you're projecting out.
Young, married with a child, and here I
am. In 25 years, that's a great Santa beard. Because it's going to be all white. Although maybe it'll stay black.
Lacey tried to make a one-hand grab of it, by the way.
He's got the Christmas hat on.
Yeah.
It's magnificent. That's a little
that is
fighting sleep.
Yep. Oh, I'm gonna tell you now.
Good for the partisans who stayed though.
Yep. The folks that hung to the bitter end, as they say. Hilltopper fans are going to enjoy the night in New Orleans. Tough one for Jaguar faithful. There's a flag and incomplete pass intended for Lacey.
If you're looking for a town that will accommodate you at after the game ends at midnight.
Offsides, number 3, defense. 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. The result, 1st down.
The town that invented open late.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is a good time. Well, she ain't making it.
No, she's
out. She ain't gonna make it. Come on.
Oof. That's a tough one.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe they should tune into the broadcast.
Here's the thing.
Weigh in on Santa Claus.
Well, and we're going to have somebody text somebody and say, hey, man, they just showed you on TV. Bradley, crossing route. And this is Pritchett, who's got his 2nd catch of the 2nd half.
That would require people still being tuned in to
Derek
text
Smith made the tackle. Yeah, now, see, you never know. I'm telling you. All right, hang on there. Here's Bradley looking for Voisin, who makes the grab and does so right in front of Darius Thomas, the freshman from Miramar, Florida. And 4 minutes to go here in New Orleans.
Devin Voisin has been an absolute warrior today.
He's had a great night.
And he's done it on a bum foot. I mean, he hurt that foot earlier this half and has been limping around really ever since.
Got a career high 153 after that catch. Here's Carter Bradley. Zips it across the way, and stepping out of bounds will be Colin Lacey at the 41-yard line of Western Kentucky. You see at the top, coverage continues tomorrow night. the Lockheed Martin Armed Forces Bowl with Baylor and Air Force, and then Friday afternoon from Shreveport, the Raging Cajuns in Houston.
I expect a pretty good crowd there in Shreveport.
Yep, that ball for Lacey batted away incomplete. I think that was Derek Smith. Derek Smith is a guy who is Trinity High School in Jacksonville. Roddy started at Miami as a safety, then a year at Illinois, and now at Bowling Green. And it was interesting listening to Tyson Summers talk about kind of his movement and development in their program. A guy that can play several positions in all those different packages they run defensively.
Yeah, and they said, you know, it was a tough recruiting pitch when we said, hey, we're going to make you a safety.
Yeah.
They said Derek Smith almost hung up the phone, but he heard them out, and he's had a nice year.
Wow, Bradley dodged one, but the second one, no. Shaw was in there, and Bradley's hurt.
Carter Bradley has taken a beating today.
Darion Goodrum was in there on the attack as well here. There's the hit by Shaw, and Bradley, about the time he regained his balance, was knocked to the ground. And Carter Bradley's night, I think, will end with 3:04 to go.
Lorenzo Hernandez, the big number 0 on that defensive line, joined in as well there at the end, and we get another look at Desmond Trotter coming in. Carter Bradley's had to fight it. I mean, they have had a tough time keeping him protected. And now you're going to get another look at Desmond Trotter.
Trotter hit as he throws, and that's incomplete to Thomas Jones, the tight end, and that was Lorenzo Hernandez. Desmond will help Lorenzo up.
And you get a look at the numbers on Desmond Trotter. We've had a chance to see South Alabama now live and in person twice.
Yep.
Probably against the two best defensive lines that they've faced this year. Troy, and the way this Western Kentucky team has played, this Western Kentucky defensive line would be up there for me. That's where this team needs to take a step, because in both of those games, it really struggled protecting.
And there's a sack from Goodrum.
The other thing that sort of plays into it is this isn't the game that they want to play. They want to be the aggressive. They want to be on the front foot, run blocking a lot more than they're having to go backwards pass blocking. But I wouldn't be surprised to see Kane Womack try and find some help, solidify that offensive line so they can indeed take that step that they're looking to take to be that team at the end that's representing the group of 5. Because the potential's there, the conference is there, the returners are there. Where can you shore up the places where you're just not quite as good as you are everywhere else?
Turner Helton has come into the ball game to replace Austin Reed. This is Tyson Helton's nephew and the son of Clay Helton. And he'll hand the ball to Marquise Stepp. So we get a look at Turner here tonight. 6'2" freshman from Palos Verdes Estates, California.
These are his first snaps of the season, too.
That's it. Yep.
As we mentioned earlier, Dad Clay is in the building, was on the sideline.
Yeah, we're tying all sorts of fathers and sons here tonight between these two schools.
It was interesting talking to the South Alabama crew about having played Georgia Southern earlier this year.
Yeah.
And the Sun Belt loyalty quickly out the window.
And look here, Marquise Stepp inside the 5 to the 2. Terrific run by Stepp, the junior from Cathedral in Indianapolis. 6'1", 230, Roddy.
And Western Kentucky's going to do the classy thing. They're going to go into victory formation, it looks like, and just kneel this thing out. Stepp was rolling there.
We have now gone over 1,100 yards of total offense in this ball game between the two schools.
How many does South Alabama have?
South Alabama has 680 yards and was 680 tonight.
That's Western Kentucky.
Or Western Kentucky, by the way. South Alabama has 421.
I almost thought you were saying Western Kentucky had 1,100 yards.
No, 1,100 total.
That's what it feels like.
And The interesting piece about this is they're losing a yard, and that's going to take them. Had they stayed at 680, Roddy, they would have joined they would have joined Texas A&M and Hawaii in the top 10 of total offense for a single game in any bowl game. Any. But by taking a couple knees here, they're going to come off the number a touch.
Tyson Hill will be okay with that.
I think so. And by the way, a nice piece of officiating here. That last knee will do it. Austin Reed and Tyson Helton. A handshake and hug. And
Man.
the water, the Gatorade dump, by the way, ended up taking down 2 or 3 people, but not the head coach.
Just took out Tyson Helton. I mean, that was one of those.
What an impressive 9th win for the Hilltoppers, Rob.
It certainly was. It was dominant from the word go. Austin Reed and that offense really set the tone. And when you are a team like Western Kentucky has been over the last few seasons, the offense often does. They lived up to it, really put the pressure on South Alabama, who just had no answers. 44-23 the final. Austin Reed threw for nearly 500 yards and 4 touchdowns. And the Hilltoppers took it wire to wire. For Roddy Jones, Taylor Davis, our producer Seth Miller, our director Johnny Hanna. Capital One postgame on the app, but here's Scott. Dominant from the word go. Austin Reed and that offense really set the tone. And when you are a team like Western Kentucky has been over the last few seasons, the offense often does. They lived up to it, really put the pressure on South Alabama, who just had no answers. 44-23 the final. Austin Reed threw for nearly 500 yards and 4 touchdowns. And the Hilltoppers took it wire to wire. For Roddy Jones, Taylor Davis, our producer Seth Miller, our director Johnny Hanna. Capital One postgame on the app, but here's Scott Van Pelt. Welcome to the ESPN app postgame presented by Capital One. The festivities are about to begin, but first, this message.
The Venture X card from Capital One gives you premium travel benefits, like 2 times miles on every purchase.
The noise canceling. You're being too loud. Thank you. Good choice. Ooh, my lucky number.
Earn 5 times miles on flights.
Enjoy your stay.
Going up?
And 10 times miles on hotels through Capital One Travel. Plus, get access to over 1,300 airport lounges.
White wine, please.
And maybe see the one and only Taylor Swift. Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Well, here tonight on the floor of the Caesars Superdome, Western Kentucky finishes the campaign at 9-5, and they do it in an impressive fashion, 44-23 to capture the R+L Carriers New Orleans Bowl. Great to be with Roddy Jones, Taylor Davis in a moment from the floor and the postgame trophy presentation. And Roddy, I got to tell you, our Capital One rewarding performance tonight has got to be Dalvin Smith. This redshirt sophomore from Glasgow, Kentucky, did everything but help us broadcast.
I do think he may have been to the concession stand, sold popcorn, sold some hot dogs, because he was fantastic, and he was a big part of setting the tone early in this game. A couple of a touchdown catch, a long pass down the field, and then threw a touchdown himself. Really set the tone. He was one of 3, not 1, not 2, but 3 receivers for Western Kentucky over 100 yards. All 3 of those guys had a touchdown. Malachi Corley had a couple, and Jalen Hall was fantastic as well, and it was all powered by Austin Reed.
Yep, sure was. Half dozen and a touchdown catch for Dalvin Smith, and that's our Capital One rewarding performance. And for Tyson Helton tonight, career win number 32. He's now 3-1 in bowl games. My goodness, and this is the 4th straight postseason game for Western Kentucky. 2nd time they've done it in FBS. And after last year watching Bailey Zappi throw for 422 and 6 touchdowns to win the Boca Raton Bowl over Appalachian State, tonight Austin Reed throws for 497 and 4 in this victory by the Hilltoppers.
You have to give a lot of credit to the offensive coordinator for Western Kentucky, Ben Arbuckle, who was just fantastic. The game plan was great. He anticipated that they were going to get a lot of man-to-man coverage. They absolutely did. So how do you stress that? Well, the speed of Dalvin Smith and then some of the concepts that they ran. You know, Kane Womack, the head coach of South Alabama, talked to Taylor a couple of times about the switch concepts that they were running, and they ran it in all kinds of different ways, from all kinds of different angles, areas, people, and Austin Reed found the open man consistent.
Well, I got to tell you, the rewarding piece and the respect piece tonight for Austin Reed is immense, because you've seen a lot of South Alabama players come up and shake the hand of the Hilltopper quarterback tonight, who Roddy, he's as good as we've seen this year. And we've been fortunate to see some terrific quarterback play.
From a performance standpoint, I'm not sure you could have been any better.
Well, down to the field we go here at the Caesars Superdome, and here to handle the post-game trophy presentation is Taylor Davis.
Trophy presentation ceremony. First of all, a huge thank you to R+L Carriers for once again putting on an incredible New Orleans Bowl. And shout out to the fans who made the trip out here to support their respective teams. We couldn't do it without all of you. Also want to go ahead and acknowledge South Alabama for their incredible season, a great bowl win tonight, and we know the future is bright for this program. Congratulations to the Jaguars as well. And now, to present the championship trophy representing R+L Carriers, please welcome Tommy Snyder, Director of Operations for R+L Carriers.
On behalf of R+L Carriers, our 18,000 employees, and over 1 million customers worldwide, I want to congratulate Western Kentucky University on winning the 2022 R+L Carriers New Orleans Bowl. Congratulations, Coach Elton. Good job, fellas.
The trajectory of this season had its bumps at times, but you once again stand here hoisting a trophy. How did this group get it done?
Well, first of all, glory to God for this win. We just thank him, and these men are such great men, such honorable men. You know, we take tremendous pride at Western Kentucky of winning bowl games, not just getting to bowl games, but winning bowl games. Our guys had a championship mentality. Just so proud of them, and I can't thank the fans enough. Thank you, fans. You guys were fantastic tonight.
You told me at halftime it would require a championship mentality against a team like South Alabama. You acknowledged your fans. How much does a win like this reflect the future of this program?
Well, you know, one thing about Western Kentucky is you're going to recognize our brand, and we're just getting started. So really proud of our guys, and you know, again, we just take a lot of honor and pride, and hats off to R+L Carriers in the New Orleans Bowl. This was a fantastic week for us. They do such a great job, and I can't thank them enough.
An incredible season. Congratulations, Coach.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
And now to present the 2022 Most Valuable Player Award, please welcome the chairman of the R+L Carriers New Orleans Bowl, Paul Valteau.
Thank you, Taylor. We have a record-setting performance tonight. 36 for 55 for 497 yards and 4 touchdowns. Quarterback, Austin Reed.
All right, Austin, let's talk about your season. You told me this week you started the season just wanting to win your first D1 football game, and now you stand here a bowl MVP. How did you do it?
We have a fantastic offensive line. We have fantastic receivers. We have fantastic tight ends, and we have fantastic running backs that make me look a lot better than I am. So that's what we have. That's what our key to success is let those guys make plays, and I'll just facilitate the ball to them.
Like he said, a bowl record here tonight, 497 yards for you through the air. What did tonight's performance do to push you guys into the future that I know you're looking forward to?
Yeah, you know, it's awesome. You know, returning here next year is a big deal, and the plans that we have for next year, winning conference, doing things like going back to a bowl game and winning another one. So, you know, winning a bowl game for Western, winning a bowl game for Bowling Green's huge for us, and it's big going into next year.
Incredible. Congratulations on the season and the award.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Well, once again, thank you so much to R+L Carriers for an incredible bowl game. Thank you to all the fans, and thank you to Western Kentucky. Congratulations on the win. Have a good night, and Merry Christmas, everybody.
Y'all smiling, right? Yeah, you do. Smiling.
Thanks for watching the R+L Carriers New Orleans Bowl here as part of Capital One Bowl Mania.